what we do here is go back.
Hello there, everybody. How the devil are we all? I am alive, but at what price?
Stop it. Get some help.
Well, $5 a month, clearly, is my price. It is. It is literally $5 a month. That is what's happening there. Okay? 5 of them. Boom shakalaka. Anyway, yes, hello there, everybody. Oh, we're on a fucking hype train as well. That's dope. Yeah, thank you to OLit Music Stuff, much love, and thank you to Scribby, both for resubscribing with Prime. Much love to you. We're on a hype train. If we get to level 2 of the hype train, I will finger my faith in this country because it is dead. Much love. You can do bits and subs and all that shit to get the hype train choo-chooing down the track. Yes. Anywho, we're going to be on with No Justice of the MTG Variety in just a moment to talk about how this country is absolutely fucking done. It is wrecked. It is over. Or words to that effect. Yes. There's been all kinds of shenaniganery going on in a place called Southport, which you're going to hear a lot more about over the course of tonight's proceedings. A place you may not have heard of before. It lies between Liverpool and Blackpool on the northwestern coast of the United Kingdom, and we'll get to that in just a second. I'll say hello to Helena.
Hey Kev, how you doing?
I'm well, if a little bit sweaty. How are you?
The same, pretty much.
Fair enough.
My fan is currently pointed at my PC, with which I've opened the case of because it keeps overheating, because that's how hot it is. So I am very hot, but unfortunately I don't turn off. I overheat. I just sweat.
Fair. Well, that's good. You may be able to hear my fan. It is pointed directly at my sweaty face.
It's so warm today.
It's ludicrous. This is not right in so many ways. I don't even have my camera on because it's too hot to be dressed properly. I'm in a pair of shorts with my windows open. If you hear my neighbours, that's just tough shit. That's just going to have to happen.
I mean, today was one of the days where I was very glad to go shopping at Lidl, because Lidl's aircon was incredibly powerful.
Yeah, that is good. Always linger a little bit longer in the freezer section as well. Is a nice little tip for everybody.
True.
Yes. How have you been beside the heat?
Yeah, pretty good. Parents were around for the last few days or so. They've just gone home now. Did some shopping. We're gonna sort out something together in the kitchen as well. And we went for lovely Sicilian food today. It was excellent.
Foreign food, outrageous.
Coming over here with their arancini.
Exactly. Taking our good cheddar's job. Outrageous.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I'm glad you're doing well. You know what's not doing quite so well? Britain. Britain is not doing well.
No, it's not doing well.
Yeah.
It is not doing well at all.
Yeah, I've been off for the last couple of days, still with a bit of... Can it be long COVID after 4 days? I'm not sure that's very long. Short COVID, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I've been all rounded up, but I'm feeling a bit better now. And so I haven't really covered the austerity part 420 blazer. The Labour Party are doing more austerity, which is pretty shit, actually.
Yeah,
and what they literally said they would not do, but
in the words of Anna Sawa, read my lips, no austerity under Labour. And Stephen Flynn even did a super. I added him on Twitter saying someone do a Stephen Flynn supercut of him mentioning the 18 billion pounds of public sector cuts, and then he took my idea and then interspersed it with snippets of Anas Sarwar saying "read my lips, no austerity under Labour," which was glorious.
Well, on that point, we can maybe look at the new Super Tansky later if you want to, which is about that topic, and I'm sure will be appalling. I'm sure she's very happy to have had her wallet inspected, is what I'm going to think will be the case. I haven't seen it yet, though. So, yes, Southport. Bad time.
Has Sean jumped in yet?
Pardon?
Has Sean jumped in yet? I did send him the Google Meet link.
No, he has not. So, for those who don't know, I've forgotten his fucking surname. Sean. He's an independent. He's independent councillor, so local politician in the area itself. Who hopefully will be joining us, and that'd be fucking awesome. That'd be like proper journalism or something.
I know, right?
Yeah. Organised, of course, by No Justice, not me. Naturally. That would take a lot of effort, and at least some effort. And I can't make connections and keep them with my family, let alone random fucking councillors. Anyway, Southport, right? For those who don't know, we'll ask Sean himself as he's here. Hello there, Sean.
Hello.
Firstly, amazing beard. Not really the point, but it's a beautiful thing. Well done.
I appreciate that, comrade.
Thank you. So, you are an independent councillor for the affected area of. Can you just clarify for me? Because some people on the internet seem to have had a problem. Is it Southport, Southend, or Stockport? Yeah.
Southport. Yeah.
Because there's quite a geographic split that people can't seem to decide on. Yes, you're independent MP, not MP, sorry, councillor.
I wish I was the independent MP, mate. That all went horrifically wrong.
Well, look, that's the beautiful thing about democracy. There's always a next time, friend. I wish you all the best. You are a councillor for the area of Southport, which for those...
Yeah, so Q Ward I'm a councillor in, which is the neighbouring ward to where the actual attack happened and where the mosque is.
Yeah.
Which was attacked last night. And yeah, I was an independent parliamentary candidate up there.
Right. Okay. Do you want to give us, I don't know, a sort of outline of events as you understand them, to the best of your knowledge at the moment?
With regards to the sort of chaos last night, or
well, yes, I suppose so. Obviously, I think we're all aware of the unfortunate stabbing incident that seems to have taken place, and condolences, of course, to the family and friends, and the area in general. But yes, in terms of the chaos from last night, where people seemingly from outside the area turned up and decided to try and make hay of the situation.
Yes, so I mean, I was kind of aware of it through the social media stuff a little bit earlier. You see the far right starting to organise across different sort of channels. I alerted the police. Was in contact with the imam all day, just letting him know there was meant to be a demonstration just before the vigil at 5 o'clock in the town centre. There were clearly people there who, I mean, someone shouted something mad. I couldn't quite hear it. I was the other side. But they seemed to get jumped on. From what I'm told, there were sort of some faces from the BNP and stuff in the old days.
Yeah.
People clocked. And then, yeah, one of sort of my friends was stood just outside of that. Some lads from Blackburn, I think he said, was sort of bragging about the lack of police presence and how they were going to have a good time tonight. So it's clearly...
Yeah.
Well planned, well organised.
Yes. So there was a vigil for the 3, unfortunately, now deceased children, and of course for the victims who are still, in medical need, which was attended by the Prime Minister and various other people as well, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. I was far away from.
Yeah.
VIPs. But yeah, I mean, there was probably well over 1,000 people there. To be honest, it was super peaceful, super respectful. It was sort of a nice moment. People, nice is probably the wrong words to use, but it's a reflexive moment where people come together over the stuff that had happened over the last couple of days, and then so after that, I sort of left about 7:15. Drove past the mosque, and you could sort of see a load of these lots sort of forming up in a couple of different areas, so it wasn't too noticeable, although it got pretty noticeable pretty quick how many were there. Then all hell sort of broke loose.
So it appears, as you said, there were some old faces from the BNP and the English Defence League and various other rather nasty far right groups, who seem to be largely from outside of the area. The locals were suggesting.
I mean, clearly there were locals involved. I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen that now infamous clip of the lad getting hit with a brick in the head, and then again a second time as he walks away. He's apparently a local,
right?
But yeah, I think the amount of cars and people flooding off trains, people with Millwall tattoos, which it would be very strange to be a Millwall supporter sort of 250 miles away from the football club. Yeah, it seems like the far right flooded into Southport from all over the country. Sort of anecdotally, some of the firefighters I was speaking to said some of the pubs they were driving past in the day were rammed, which is sort of unheard of for a random Tuesday morning into lunchtime. So people have been out drinking a lot of the day.
Yeah, drunkenness and possible use of other substances seems to have been a significant factor in all of this as well.
Well, the thing's what I did see.
Yeah,
remember a clip getting shared around social media of people who had driven up there with just like gigantic like bags of cans, and I was just like, yeah, that's usually the first thing I think about when I'm going to protest something as brutal as the killing of children. You know what I'm going to first do? I'm going to get the tinnies in. That's my first port of call, is going to go to Tesco and get a 16 pack.
Yeah, and at the vigil even, I mean, there was a group of lads there with a big crate of cider and England flags. So I mean, my wife's actually ended up all over social media because she approached them, told them how disrespectful it was. It wasn't the place to have your England flags on. So they were filming her and trying to get into it with her a bit. That sort of calmed down a little bit. But
was she the woman with the sign, by any chance?
No,
was that a different part? Okay, that's fair enough. Well, clearly many of the fine female denizens of the area are of note, and well played to them. Yes, so I mean, where do you even start with this? I mean, look, as we said, drink and drugs were clearly a part of this. The man you mentioned who got hit with friendly fire in an unfriendly place, he was seen jumping about and sort of almost celebrating minutes before, and goading the police and stuff. And you think, I don't even really know what the motivation outside of wanting to fight was for a lot of these people. But clearly, unfortunately, Islamophobia and racism, stoked by conspiracy theories online, seem to have been a major factor in all of this. When we know, for instance, the attacker was born in Cardiff, in the United Kingdom, and is seemingly not a Muslim, but because they're under the age of 18, they can't be named, and so people made up a fake name and pretended it was a Muslim. You can see how that goes. I mean, I wonder how people in the area are just sort of reacting to the whole thing. Like, I mean, what's the local feeling about the?
I mean, I can talk about that very, very well. I mean, my wife went down to the mosque earliest this morning, about 8:30. I accidentally slept through an interview with Good Morning Britain this morning, so I don't think they're super impressed with me. But
you came on the big show. It's fine. Sod them, mainstream media, you know.
Absolutely. But so yeah, we went down to sort of the area where the rioting had taken place last night, and there were already 50, 60 people there cleaning up throughout the day. Hundreds of people have been down there since early in the morning, and I think that that shows you what the town is. It's people came together. I mean, I've shared some videos on my Twitter before. There's companies went down, they've rebuilt the wall outside the mosque that was torn down. You wouldn't have known anything had happened by about 10 in the morning. It was just spotless again. And I think that's what the town's about, not what these fascist thugs are trying to make it into. And it won't be accepted. I mean, I've seen another picture on social media where someone's put a banner up by the train station putting "Just go home, we don't need you here." So it's not the place for hate, and that's stop attacking our police officers and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I don't think it's going to stick, although I would be very surprised if they do leave us alone. I think with the amount of spotlight on this nationally and internationally and all that, I think that and the absolutely brutal murder of 3 innocent young girls and the rest who are in hospital, as well as the 2 teachers, it's just disgusting that they would capitalise on such a tragedy for their own political aims. I mean, you hear them shouting terrorists. Well, what is terrorism if it isn't using violence for political gain? And I would argue absolutely that the far
well, would you then echo? I saw a former military intelligence officer being interviewed today saying that groups like the EDL should be designated as official terrorist groups with the government.
Hamza Yusuf said this too.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that, because they're quick enough to start prescribing other organisations or threatening to do that. I think it's tinkering around the edges. I think we need to address people's material needs that sort of leave. I mean, the organisers of this, I think, are going to do what they do and be like that anyway, but they haven't got foot soldiers if people aren't in desperate need and turning to that narrative for fear and hate. I just don't. I think you suck the oxygen out of them by actually having policy and political choices that don't leave people starving and wondering who's to blame.
Well, exactly. I mean, this is a point that Helena and I make regularly about the way to drain the swamp is to make people's lives better. If people have, decent opportunities and good schools in their area, fascism dies on the vine. That's what happens. But in the short term, I think, on a personal level, I think designating them as a terrorist group allows greater scope for stopping these kind of events before they get going. Because any time if ISIS want to organise something and the UK government get a sniff of it, you can stop it at source, and it's not like a human rights issue because they're trying to do a terrorism. And the same would be true here. So those riots might have been preventable if the police were able to act in that way.
Well, the grounds that I think the precedent that we now have is that even groups that aren't even necessarily going to be potentially committing terrorist acts are being prescribed to. I mean, Hizb ut-Tahrir as a group, they are a prescribed group now. They've never done anything that's not peaceful, but their desire to be able to create, a global caliphate or whatever is perceived to be outside of key British values, and therefore they have been prescribed as a group. And that they are basically just like the polar, the equal and opposite to the EDL in that regard, who essentially at this point want to demigrate a bunch of people of non-white heritage from this country. And I think on those same grounds, if you can make that case for Hizb ut-Tahrir, you can almost certainly make it for the EDL.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how often do we see these groups change their names and morph into something else?
True.
It's going to prescribe them into oblivion. Whilst obviously I'd welcome it, anything that sort of takes the wind out of the sails of the far right is to be welcomed. But I think until we address the root cause, we're never going to actually solve the issue of this. I mean, you see throughout history, the far right only rise when there's the sort of economic downturns and instability. That's when they do their best work, as it were. So without actually mainstream politics telling a different narrative and addressing people's needs, there's always going to be that groundswell of people who are wondering who to blame. And when you've got people like Nigel Farage and Tommy Robinson, Lawrence Fox, SL, they're going to fill that narrative and fill that void and sort of give people the wrong message that leads to this sort of violence and communities being absolutely ransacked.
Yeah. How it sounds like an odd question, I suppose, but how does it feel to have members of the UK Parliament stoking racial racial riots basically on your streets, and but it's a relatively small place, not used to the national or international spotlight, and now you've got these international figures trying to cause violence on your doorstep.
And also, it might seem like a lofty claim as well, but we're literally seeing the previous ex-counter-terror department people from the government have essentially have accused Nigel Farage of inciting it. So it being a lofty accusation is coming from experts as well as people like us.
It's all a bit surreal. So I grew up down the roads where the attack happened. It's around the corner from the mosque, so that is very much. I spent the first 16 years of my life there. I live maybe a 2-minute drive from it at the moment. Like this is very much my community. It's really surreal just seeing the press there. I mean, me myself. I was sort of a counsellor, sort of gone viral a couple of times, but now I've got Sky ringing me for interviews. I've turned down a few, but I'm trying to make sure that where I can, I'm filling that space, because the last thing I'd want is someone with sort of divisive politics taking them interviews up and filling the airtime, rather than talking about community cohesion and that this doesn't represent us, because it doesn't. It's not Southport. It's sort of a super quiet town. There's never really been any issues around racial tension, stuff like that. And for these just cretins to come in and try and stoke that division and attack people that completely have nothing to do with anything, it's heartbreaking to see in my own community.
Would you?
Just one sec, but I got a super chat here from Lewis. Thank you for the support there. Here in Southport, are heartbroken but will persist. Us Southport Greens are grateful to have Sean fighting for us and representing our town. So there's a message of support there from Lewis.
Thank you, Lewis.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. You say you've turned down certain interviews, and thank you. I appreciate that you've chosen the best platforms, of course. If Mr. Farage, who himself has a significant platform, if he were to seek a conversation with yourself, would you be open to that, or would that be? Are you an anti-platform type guy, or what's your feeling on that?
I think it depends what benefit we can get from it. I mean, I would dispute any conversation between me and Nigel Farage would stay a conversation. I think that would get into a very heated debate, especially after the rhetoric he's been pumping out the last couple of days. But I think there are certain people that absolutely we should debate, and ideas we should debate. And there are certain people that we just starve them of oxygen, and hopefully their message goes. Nigel has probably got too big of a platform for little old me to starve, but I don't know. It would depend on the format, and if it's sort of in good faith and stuff like that. I'm not going to be dragged into somewhere to sort of be pilloried and sort of made out to be some far hard left lunatic. I just give a shit about my community. I'm not here to give credence to that nonsense.
So, I mean, if you had a message for not just Nigel Farage, because obviously it's wider than that, but if you had a message for people like himself in those positions of kind of media clout, and they're stirring the shit in your area, what would that message be?
They don't represent anyone in this country. They're representing the bankers and elite, and people have bought the sort of pup again, for lack of a better phrase. It won't. The minute we have a viable actual left wing alternative that is talking different from the neoliberal rhetoric and consensus, their days are numbered. When people's material needs are actually met and there is a fundamental difference, people will turn their backs on the far right. Their days are numbered, because I genuinely believe that an actual left-wing alternative to the left of Labour is coming in this country.
Absolutely. We won't hope so. It's worth pointing out as well, talking specifically as well about, people within, I was mentioning on Navarra tonight, this is all coming from the top down. People are getting riled up by messages coming from the top. But there's looking at videos here, people, on the streets of London tonight doing the same thing that they were doing in Southport the other night. And they're chanting things like "stop the boats," and this isn't something that you're getting from Twitter or from social media or from influencers. This is the official slogan of the previous government, that the current government are essentially taking the same line on as well. Right? This is something that's being fed to them from people who have power, who are using it for their own ends. This isn't organic.
No, and that's the thing, isn't it? How can we blame powerless people for our problems? It's the people. If you haven't got the authority to change something, you don't bear responsibility for it. How are we blaming people with no power and no authority for things in society that can be changed through political choice in a heartbeat? There is no reason they could not lift the 2-child benefit cap. There's no reason to start removing the winter fuel allowance of pensioners.
True.
This government are driving, and the government before it and before that, are driving the conditions that are making this country a tinderbox for fascism.
Absolutely, you make a very, very fine point. Also, just to the people shouting "Stop the boats," you don't need to get on a boat to go from Cardiff to Stockport. Southport,
That's what I'm
even.
saying about it,
Southport,
yeah.
yes, or Stockport for that matter. They're connected by land. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, these people are just racist filth, aren't they, really? And that's, I mean, unfortunately, the problem is that we're now, that all of the oxygen in the room is being taken up by discussing these fascist gobshites, rather than the actual thing, which is 3 dead children and people still fighting for their lives in hospital.
That's it. And I mentioned, I was on Sky earlier. I mentioned that it's this discussion should not be about these thugs descending on the town and burning things and tearing up people's front gardens to throw bricks at the police and damage a mosque. It should be about mourning and giving the town space, and more importantly, the families space and time to grieve, and making sure that they got that comfort around them, as much comfort as possible. Obviously, it's I cannot imagine any more traumatic an experience of what they're going through. And then to see these people just sort of hitching their wagon and trying to make this their cause, when their only cause is to fuel hatred and division in this country. And to see working class people buy into it is sad, and that shows me that we have a job of work to do with political education around our class, and making sure people understand that other working class people are not the cause of their problems and woes. It is the elite. It is people like Nigel Farage and Rishi Sunak, and the people who have worked in these industries that crippled our economy, that exist only to move money from the people without to the people who have already got more than enough money for 1,000 lifetimes.
Exactly, yeah. Nigel Farage, a wanker banker who's more concerned with his having a special account at Coots Bank than anything else. The idea that he gives 2 fucks about the people of Southport, or even the people of his own constituency, which he never seems to want to be in, is laughable. He doesn't give a shit about you, and you should. The best thing we can do, I think, is expose the likes of him for the 2-bit spivs that they are.
Absolutely, and where and when we can, make sure we have very good left-wing candidates telling a different narrative, rooted in their community, who can represent their communities effectively, not these nonsenses parachuted in from all over the place, who have no connection to their community. It's if you don't understand the place you're representing, how can you ever represent it effectively?
Yeah.
It just does not make sense to me how people fall for these. But finding good community activists and making sure they're ready to take these people out at the first opportunity, win at the ballot box for now, take them out, fill Parliament with people who actually are going to represent the people who live there.
Yeah. Helena?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm aware I don't want to hog. I mean, you organised this. I don't want to hog the conversation.
No, it's fine. You're doing a really good job asking all of the right questions here.
Thank
I just
you.
think that, again, it's incredibly frustrating just to be proven right over and over and over again. Just continually saying, well, if we keep doing these things, this is where we're going to end up. Like we're at the crossroads of socialism or barbarism. We've just got 5,000 people, 5,000 different kind of parts of the centre and the right essentially trying to force us to barbarism, and it feels difficult to try and fight back against what seems to be this kind of inexorable tide of fascism across Europe, across Western Europe especially.
Yeah.
It's across the West. I mean, sit in North America now with the absolute shambles that's going on there. Both, I mean, yeah, the USA, Trump's likely going to get elected, I would say. Yeah, I mean, I hope not, obviously, but it's everything's pointing to that, and the sort of sweeping of the board with the far right across a lot of Europe. It was heartening to see the French get the shit together and sort of finally sort of knock them down to third. But it's terrifying. It's what do we do? I don't feel the foundations are in place. I think Thatcher did such a good job of crippling the trade union movement that sort of hub of political education and collectively organising just isn't there at the level it needs to be, and the far right are coming quick.
Yeah,
it's also incredibly tilting that for all of the months and months that people have been peacefully protesting about, you know, what's going on in Palestine, in cities across the country, minimal arrests, no property damage was being done, at least not on a particularly noticeable scale. And this happened week after week after week. And we were branded hate marchers, we were branded anti-Semites, we were branded enemies of the nation, enemies of the state, and to the point at which a government minister sicked a far-right mob against us. And we never got to the point of it becoming like a riot, and yet we were demonized throughout the press. And yet this thing is happening. One piece of misinformation about a fake Muslim person that doesn't exist, and suddenly we're seeing mosques being pelted with bricks.
Well, I think it's very interesting timing that only last week, for the heinous crime of maybe getting in the way of some traffic, people received 5-year prison sentences. It'll be interesting to see the kid gloves with which the system treats these actual terrorists.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not that difficult to understand why this sort of stuff happens, because the far right, as much damage and stuff as they do, they don't fundamentally want to change the system we live in. They don't want to fundamentally change the economic model. That the lefts do, and that represents a threat to actual power structures in the favour of us. We don't need to do it violently, but they will make it violent because for them, maybe not having the lifestyles that they've become accustomed to is terrifying. They don't want to live like the rest of us. They don't want to. I mean, none of them know what it's like to struggle, to worry if you're going to keep your kids fed, keep the rent paid. It's so, yeah. I mean, if it's a bit of damage on the street, I imagine they'll put up with it. But like you said, Kevin, again, they just stop oil lot for the sin of maybe talking about potentially protesting. You're seeing 5-year prison sentences for what is in sort of essence trying to make sure we don't all either burn or drown. It's mad.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. The thing as well that I was I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. Sorry, ignore me.
No, that's fair enough. I was just going to move on slightly to, I suppose, a slightly happier top part of the story. That for all of the damage that has been done, both in terms of the physical damage and the potential reputational damage, the town, I think, comes out of this looking really rather good, because as you sort of hinted at the start, they've rebuilt the wall outside of the mosque. Much of the damage that has been done has been swept away, and life seems to have gotten back to some semblance of normality pretty damn quickly, considering the events. That honestly certainly gives me a great deal of pride as a person from this country, and I think it must surely on a local level and as a councillor give you a lot of pride that your community has such resolve within it.
Yeah, massively. I think that is seeing that happen this morning, and it shows you that the collective community sort of cohesion will always beat any of the far right's rhetoric and their hate. Communities will come together, and I'm so proud of my community here. It was incredible to see. I mean, I was terrified last night. I was speaking to the imam while he was in the mosque, and yeah, fearing for the worst. And then arranged a few people to get down this morning and help out. And I mean, to be honest, by the time we got there, about 8:30, most of it was done, which again shows just like the incredible sort of nature of where I live. I mean, I stood for the parliamentary elections. I've always lived in this town. I love this town, and that, I mean, just sort of vindicated that their feelings of the town. We've never had to go for anything like this before, and seeing that this morning made me feel with pride, absolutely. But yeah, and there's, like I said, there's a video before it showed the guy who built the wall. He said, the far right come again and knock it down, we'll just rebuild it again. And I think that resolve demonstrates that although they're not welcome here, they come back. We will push them back where we can, and we will rebuild when they leave the trail of destruction. I do think what it has done is people maybe sort of on the verge of being supporters of that sort of rhetoric have seen it's just fuggery, and that will turn a lot of people off. Yeah, but the community is incredible here, and hopefully they just leave us alone and the families can get on with grieving and mourning their babies, and the rest of us can sort of collectively hopefully try and look after them.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I say, I feel under the need to tell you that I think a lot of people, myself included, around the country, who maybe even hadn't heard of your town, have a much more positive view of it and of that region more generally because of the reaction to this. Like you say, I mean, I'm going to put it in a way that's maybe a little bit off colour, but when a cockroach infestation happens, the best you can do is sweep it away and repair. And that's what you seem to have done really rather well, and I think that's much to your credit.
Oh yeah, it's believe me, it's not me. I've been sort of pushed into the media with all this, I think, because of the recent parliamentary elections, and I've been told the Labour lot, I've been told they can't speak to the press, so it seems to have fallen on me.
Why?
But,
do you know why they've been told that, or is that not to be speculated on, or what?
I mean, I'm out of the loop now on that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. It's I mean, it's not even been 100% confirmed to me. It's just the rumours I've heard, and with the fact that none of them have made statements or comments or spoke to the press, I can see some truth in that. I don't know. I mean, this isn't a party political issue. Clearly, it's. And I've called a few times that all the Southport councillors, regardless of what rosette we were at election time, need to come together now and make sure there's sort of plans put in place so we can efficiently and sort of the best we can look after the families and the community around there, make sure that we're not allowed to be broken.
Yeah. So in terms of community cohesion, is there obviously the mosque exists? Is there a large Muslim population in the town, or I mean, what's the kind of makeup there?
Not really. I believe not 1.5% of the population. So.
Oh really? Okay, so not a lot at all. Yeah.
No. But there's been a Muslim population in the town for forever, as long as I've known. It's not the most diverse town, but I think it's people. There isn't really any sort of divides in the community. Everyone just gets on. It's not like there's the sort of people broken up into different parts and not getting on with each other. I think everyone just comes together and gets on with life. I've never really felt any racial tensions in the town.
Oh, that's well, obviously very good, but also very interesting. I was going to ask, obviously still fresh, so who knows? But to the degree you're able to judge, how are the Muslim population in the town and in the area feeling and reacting to this? Because it must be pretty damn scary for them.
I think terrified. I think to be honest, I think today with the clean-up operation, seeing the kindness of that community just getting on with stuff, I think that's gone a long way to allaying some of them fears. But you would not be human if you weren't terrified after seeing what happened last night and the chance, and seeing down in London now and around the country. Apparently, it must be a terrifying time. But I mean, we're all one community. It doesn't matter what colour your skin is or what faith you pray to. It's community's community. It doesn't matter any of the other stuff. That's all immaterial. It's
good stuff. Helena.
Yes.
Hello there. Again, I want to make sure, look, because again, I feel like I'm sort of dominating the conversation, and that's not fair.
I mean, I'm glad to see that the communities have been coming together, and it looks like we're going to be seeing. I think it's Hartlepool things have been breaking out right now, so hopefully that will calm down and the community can come around. So there's a mosque that's being attacked there too. So it really is literally they're trying to foment a race war in this country, like the right wing, like the far right as well. And again, this is not just people from like fringe groups. Like the Prime Minister in September 2022. She was granted only for a few days, but she was the Prime Minister. Liz Truss went on Steve Bannon's podcast, one of the most notorious far-right figures globally, to call Tommy Robinson a hero. Like, these people are deeply within our political class, and they have gotten us to this point. And not obviously the rhetoric in terms of like the racist rhetoric is there, but obviously their policy is what's gotten us here too. Talk about material conditions, right? And when the state clampdowns, the use of quote unquote law and order as a justification for kind of the draconian things like the police and crime bill or the public order bill, and then they're using that against people who are trying to turn around the material conditions, and they're not using it against those who are doing what we're seeing all over social media over the last 2 days.
Absolutely, and again, the far right don't challenge the narrative. They're not challenging the sort of economic status of the rest of us. It's not something they've got to worry about long term. It's a flash in the pan sort of thing for them. It's terrifying for us. But I just, it's hard to see how this is going to be addressed by the current government. I mean, I certainly hope it is, but I just don't see how they do it with the sort of knots they've tied themselves in over fiscal plans and stuff like that.
Oh my god, absolutely losing my mind. You should have seen me get absolutely furious about it as soon as like we heard about the cuts to the winter fuel payment, and and cuts to like local rail lines and hospital capital investment plans, just like things that are just dumb on their face. If we were trying to have the biggest growth, for example, in the high sustained growth in the G7 was cutting capital investment projects, especially things like the railway renovation lines, the railway reopenings, which is supposed to be in like the kind of left behind communities that Labour should have been standing for, and had kind of, again, completely lost the trust of during the Blair administration, because these deindustrialised towns, they don't have their rail lines anymore. These branch lines were all closed. Boris Johnson promised to reopen them, and these are some of the capital programmes that have been cut back on that could bring life back into these communities, and that's just not going to happen anymore. Like, they're digging their own grave.
Absolutely. I mean, Southport's suffered from that as well. As part of the Berska curves, which is a small bit of line, which, if you reopen, gives us a direct link up to Preston, which is mad that we have no direct link to the close. Sort of Liverpool and Preston are about the same distance away. You can get to Liverpool super easy. Preston, you've got to get like a bus, and another bus you're going to go the other side. But if you open that small bit of line, you've now got a direct link up to Edinburgh from Southport. As a coastal tourist destination, how much more money could that bring into the local economy and sort of stimulate jobs and stuff? Because it's hard, yeah.
And as sort of discussed, it's the perfect breeding ground for this kind of far right hate. I think we've seen a lot of, and it's not obviously not just north of England, but as we're discussing that tonight, those kind of the red wall towns, which I suppose Southport would be the kind of western extremity of. They've now been let down, or seemingly will be let down if this continues, by both the Boris Johnson government, which promised investment and levelling up, and however dishonest that was a thing that people in the north of England bought into and wanted. They wanted expenditure, they wanted public expenditure to try and revitalise the economy. They wanted things like HS2, which were promised and now probably won't be delivered. Certainly to the north of England anyway, and now the Keir Starmer government, having not really promised all that much, but at least seemed like they might bring some change. When both of the major political parties are disillusioned and you see the likes of Reform on the rise, it's the perfect breeding ground. It's the perfect swamp from which these kinds of monsters arise. And cutting back even further, doing another round of austerity, but this time with a red rosette on it, is almost the perfect designed plan to allow the far right to continue to grow.
I mean, they literally ran on the election campaign with a massive sign saying change.
Yes.
Like, the single word change was their election slogan. And if all they deliver is more of the same and nothing actually fundamentally changes, then yeah, of course we're just gonna go. Literally, it wasn't like the Conservative government in the run-up to 2010 that fermented the BNP as a force in this country. It was the failures of a Labour government to do the things that you would expect a Labour government to do. And of course, we're seeing the kind of things we're seeing right now is because of Conservative failures. It's slightly different, but with Labour in power doing the same things, and as you say, nowhere else for them to turn other than the far right, which is why we need kind of a nascent far left, or I guess proper left wing anyway. I'd rather be far left, but any kind of proper left wing force to challenge Labour. And I think, Sean, you're right, that needs to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think what we've allowed to happen is the Overton window just to be dragged kicking and screaming off the deep end of the right. And where you've got now, I mean, the amount of times you hear people, oh, Corbyn was a communist, like, it's centre left at best. Like, come on, this is just absolutely ludicrous that we're allowing the far right to have this narrative. I mean, BNP leaflets from back in the 80s, 90s are just normal sort of right-wing party rhetoric now. I mean, I've seen some Labour leaflets that don't look that dissimilar to them.
Well, sorry to cut you off, but when Nigel Farage during the recently past general election said that was it something like he wasn't like the BNP? No, he's not like the BNP. He is the BNP. His policies are exactly. If you go back and read the manifestos of those early 2000s BNP elections when they won a couple of MEP seats, didn't they?
Andrew
Brons and Nick Griffin, who now I believe lives in Hungary. What a patriot! Anyway, just like Tommy Robinson, the patriot on the Costa Brava. If you look at their policies, they're basically the same policy platform as Reform. They're the same policy platform as the right of the Conservative Party. And even though the Labour Party have done, I think, a few good things, like getting rid of the Rwanda thing and the Bibi Stockholm, the reason they're doing that isn't fundamentally that they want to challenge the paradigm that immigrants bad or brown people bad. It's that it's cost ineffective. So they're going to do blitzes on illegal workers and stuff. And it's the same nonsense, and that's how, like you say, the Overton window gets dragged so far to the right that it doesn't represent the people of the country at all.
No, 100%, and yeah, it's just sad to see sort of not more being done for workers' rights. I just noticed in the chat there, someone asked me how the Valley Vet strike is going. So I work in trade union education, and yeah, the Valley Vets sort of striking workers, some of mine. It's going good. I think they've had the first couple of weeks. They've gone back to work this week and will be out again next week. If anyone can support them, look them up on social media. They're some of the most incredible trade unions I've seen. I think, did we speak about it last time I was on, Helena?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, look them up. They are absolutely an incredible bunch of workers. So if anyone can support them, please do. And if you live around Cardiff or South Wales, get down to their pickets when they're back on. I'm sure that'll be back up and show some solidarity with them, because that is how we fundamentally challenge all the stuff we've been speaking about. It's through workers organising themselves and fighting for better, getting off our knees and not waiting for a prime minister to give us handouts, but doing what we should to take it ourselves, what we deserve.
Exactly, yeah. Keir Starmer isn't going to hand anyone anything, but as I think we've seen with various protests, like the Palestine protests and things like that, you can gain, at the very least, some concessions. You can actually make a positive material difference, and hopefully at the same time build a leftist coalition, as we saw in France recently, that can hopefully take them on at the ballot box as well.
No, absolutely, and yeah, that I do believe that left-wing coalition or new party or whatever is coming. I think we spoke to Helena. I was supported by the collective through the election. I've never come across a more supportive, incredible bunch of activists across the country. Probably spread a little bit too thin and a lot too much work, but hopefully, as it grows, we can do something really meaningful and interesting, and address some of these needs that sort of will act as a bulwark against the far right.
Yeah, so what's the sort of political feeling in the area yourself? Look at what are the sort of, I mean, obviously you get people of all kinds of political stripes, but what is the general political leaning of your area? I imagine it's relatively pro-Labour?
I mean, the last general election was the first time Labour ever won the seat at parliamentary level.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
We didn't have any Labour councillors until 2018. I was elected in 2019. Oh, wow. So this is new territory. I mean, I think the messaging of them years broke through. The Labour candidate won with less votes than we got in 2019. So I don't think it's any sort of mad sort of enthusiasm for Starmer and his sort of platform.
So, a microcosm of the country at large, Labour won, but no one's really that thrilled about it.
Southport's a weird one because it usually bucks the national trend. It doesn't usually go with the rest of the country. It's interesting, but yeah, I think it's very, very mixed. So the ward I represent is very working class. Super great community. Like I absolutely love being a councillor. The sort of community are brilliant. I have had very little shit from people over the years. It's been super positive experience being a councillor.
Awesome, yeah. So you're an independent. Is there a political party you see yourself at some point joining, or would it need to be a new political movement?
There may be a new political party coming around the corner that I would see myself fitting in with.
Oh, okay. Cards close to the chest. Okay, I respect it. Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm happy to work with anyone. I've spoke with the Greens and stuff. I'm more than happy to work with them and other sort of groups of left of Labour. It's delivering for people is what matters. I'm traditional trade unionist. I came into politics through leading a strike back in 2017 myself, and then becoming heavily involved with the trade union movement. For me, the Greens, although there's a lot of it that's brilliant, I struggle to see how that voting coalition can hold over a long period of time with sort of rural people who are furious at things being built and sort of urban eco-socialists. I don't see myself fitting in there, and that's the beauty of being independent. I can work with whoever I want at the moment, and it's kind of been nice and freeing to do that.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I didn't want to start any beef with you and Helena, but you know, just...
No beef, comrade.
Yes. So, if you had, I don't know, a message of hope or a message of like positive action, what would you suggest for people to do to combat the rise of the far right? Obviously, we've talked about the bigger issues of public spending and opportunities and economic development and all the rest of it. But what can an individual do? Like you say, we can't necessarily rely on political leaders all of the time. What can we do as the people to tackle this rise?
It's just first on that. I mean, even as a politician, someone in politics, you can never rely on politicians to fix your problems. We only move when people move us.
Yeah.
But I think organising communities, getting involved in community groups, bringing your community together, sort of organising at grassroots level if there's an issue in your area, get organised around that, demonstrate, get petitions sorted, cause chaos for politicians. That's how you move them into doing things. And that's how you build real strength. Once you can move people and they're terrified of you, they are going to move into your direction. I don't mean terrified in the sense of actually being fearful, but terrified of losing the seat at elections. I think MPs, councillors need to remember who they're representing, and it isn't the leaders of political parties, it's the communities they're supposed to represent. Yeah. And we do that best by collectively organising ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think if anything from this election gave me real hope, was seeing the rise of those independents who took on some of the more rabid pro-Israel people and defeated some pretty big majority. I mean, Ashworth had 23,000 in Leicester, and that was overturned, which is just absolutely monumental. And it was beautiful to see, although I wish he would piss off and get off every TV screen imaginable. But it is a little bit like it's like a Truman Show bit. You just can't escape him. He's the seeing that kind of people-powered movement and seeing Corbyn get back in Islington North. The powerful should quake a little bit. The people aren't going to put up with the bullshit anymore, and I sense a growing positivity, along with obviously the growing negativity of the far right. There is a potential mass of people that can be reached. It's just putting together the movement that can reach them. That's the issue.
I think the issue as well, electorally at the very least, is obviously turnout at this election was incredibly low. It was the lowest turnout election since 2005, which are the two lowest turnout elections we've had, I think, in the post-war period. That's how low it was. And so the people that we can reach out to are people who are disengaged, people who think that politicians don't speak for them. In fact, in the run up to the election, both you and I, Kev, we talked about this a lot, about the polling showing people feeling like nobody in politics represented them. Nobody represented their values, nobody looked out for them, and their trust in politicians was a rock bottom. If we can reach people, like plenty of people are already very party affiliated, they're very, very stuck in their ways, and who people who turn up to elections, but literally half the electorate didn't fucking turn up at the last election. And these are people who, in moments and flashpoints, if we've built bases, if we're rooted in communities, if people know who we are, if we're the ones whose faces that they see when, it's community pantries, or whether it's in things that we're doing for the area, even the kind of people who turn up, who are the ones like Moth and Ali was trying to clear up the riots over in Hare Hills, or
True.
the people that you've seen out helping repair Southport yesterday and this morning. If we are the people who are there rooted in our communities, they will come to us when it comes to the election if we offer a positive vision. Those are the people that we can reach.
Yeah, and it's not that difficult. Them community leaders are already there. They're already embedded in the community doing it. It's just giving them the confidence to stand for these seats and giving them the belief in themselves that these spaces aren't just for the elite or people who would claim to be elite. They're for working class people, and we need to empower ourselves and empower our own leaders. And yeah, I mean, I'm a massive believer in direct democracy. I was banging on all through my own election campaign about that, and I still believe in that, and I'm still going to continue to do that. I mean, I did my first assembly after the election, 2 days after the election. This isn't something that I was going to just have as a sort of gimmick for the election and disappear. But through those sort of meetings, natural leaders will emerge from within the community. And if it's someone you see every day, you're going to know that they're is invested in making sure the buses run on time, we've got proper healthcare, the schools are up to scratch, the potholes aren't everywhere on the road, we've got a good thriving economy. If we're all invested in the places we live in, then you're going to trust the people next to you to look after you.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh God. I suppose I suppose we did touch on it on the sort of Labour government more broadly. How do you think things have gone with Sir Keir Starmer so far?
I mean, he's nailed his cause to the mast instantly by throwing people out for voting with a conscience on not starving children. I think that's abhorrent. It's. I mean, I can't envisage them being allowed back in. There will be other votes forced that they're not going to be able to vote with without looking like complete hypocrites. I think now's the perfect opportunity to go and join Jeremy on the independent side and start swallowing that and challenge Starmer, say that we're not going to put up with this, we're not going to play ball. Because if they sit back and kowtow to him, there's going to be every other person on the left there who isn't going to be able to vote with their conscience the next time there's an important vote like this. There needs to be a reaction and some sort of punishment for Starmer doing that. Otherwise, it leaves the rest of the left of what's left of the Labour Party just completely without any cover.
Yeah. I think the potentially joining up with Corbyn is a good plan. I think that's definitely something to it, because they'd have more MPs than Reform, they'd have more MPs than the Greens. If a couple of those independents, the kind of pro-Palestine independents as well joined, they'd be the fourth largest grouping in Parliament, which is not nothing. That's a base from which to build. Like I say, it would be more than the Reform Party has. And at least it would give them 5 years to be able to build and maybe maintain some of that momentum going forward. Yes.
Because I'd also like to hopefully see there be maybe not an official one, but an unofficial coalition with Green Party elected representatives as well in those cases too. It's clear when we look at the kind of bills that they've co-signed in Parliament, these people are usually pretty ideologically aligned with each other on a lot of things. So hopefully that would be something that would happen too. I mean, personally, I would love there to be an official Green Left coalition. I just think that is unlikely to be able to pass through a Green Party conference, but
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, and that's the sort of age-old problem, isn't it? How do you get the left to play nice together? It's
true.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Well, that was the beauty in France. I didn't see that coming. They put aside ancient splits and differences, and you know, leading the left is like herding cats, someone once said, and I think it's absolutely true. But they were able to put that difference to a side in the face of a genuine and growing evil. It's just, how can we do that before we get to that stage? Why does it have to get so bad before we even do that?
Yeah, if I had the answers,
Well, exactly. No, exactly.
I've successful.
I've given you a hospital pass there. Yeah, there's absolutely no way you can answer that question. But yeah, it's we need to. I mean, if I spoke French, I might be able to do a bit more of the research. But we need to look into how the French have dealt with that, because that was a genuinely uplifting set of results.
I think it's just like you said. It's a moment of extreme panic about what the far right have managed to do. And yeah, they'll come together. It's just how do we keep it together? I think we can come together in the moments. It's keeping the left together after that sort of battle's won and making sure we don't lose the war.
True. Very true. Helena.
Yeah, I couldn't say fairer than that. I don't have much to add to that.
No,
It's very comprehensive.
That's fair enough. Yeah. Any final thoughts? Any final messages you want to leave people with?
Yeah, I think we need to remember that behind all these riots and all the nonsense going on around the country, that there are 3 dead kids and more in hospital. They need to be front and centre of this. We can't allow the narrative to be taken away from the absolute tragedy with the brutal murders that happened. And taking sort of warmth from the community response after the riots last night, that there's no place for this. And yeah, I think that only happens when the communities come together, and I think we need to get better at coming together as communities in this country and realising we've done it before. We did it through COVID. We can do it again in the face of this threat from the far right, trying to hijack these tragedies and just bring absolute chaos to our streets.
Yeah, and like I say, if I can offer any solace whatsoever, it's that the nation's hearts go out to the victims and the community who suffered horrendously initially, and then obviously injury added on top of that with far right gobshites rioting. But also, you've come out of it looking very good as a community with your response to it, and you did yourself a lot of credit.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, I live in an amazing community in an amazing town.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. Yes, where can people contact you? Because I'm sure you get a lot of love for your many media appearances and stuff. Yeah, where can people find you?
On Twitter at Halsall-Sean, so just the reverse of my name there. So HALSALLSEAN is the best.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Sean. We'll have to speak again sometime, mate.
It's always a pleasure to have you, Sean.
Yeah, you too, Helena. Thank you very much, and thank you, Kevin. Take care, everyone.
Much love. Take care, comrade.
See you later. Bye-bye.
See you, mate.
Top bloke.
Yeah, he's an absolute legend. I'm super glad to have him on stream whenever he comes on.
Yeah.
It says everything that I've been thinking and far more erudite than I ever have done.
True. Someone said I like what was it? I like Brian Blessed's chill alter ego. Was a delightful comment, which I didn't know if he'd take that well or not. Like, he's probably had to deal with a lot of bullshit. Yes. So, yeah, that was awesome. I'm definitely putting that up on the fucking YouTube. That was a belting interview. Okay. So, yes, that's the link in my Twitch chat there from Rovac. Thank you for Sean's Twitter, if you want to go and check that out. Yeah, so, any thoughts on what was said there, I suppose, before we move on?
I mean, Sean and I we've spoken in similar terms previously, and he's absolutely 100% correct. Fixed material conditions and these things will fix themselves, and that involves having a political force that's there to be able to fight capitalism in the way that that you used to always do until Thatcher happened. True,
very true.
The piece of news as well, I discussed it on Navarra earlier, but I was wondering what your thoughts were on the Israel assassinating the leader of Hamas.
Well, I mean, I've got no... I don't give two fucks about the actual person themselves. If you're the leader of Hamas, you're probably a massive cunt. So just on a personal level, I shan't be losing any sleep over a person dying. The problem, unfortunately, of course, is that what I think and what the reality on the ground are two very different things. This opens up a whole can of worms, because it basically makes any peace feelers sort of irrelevant, because it's not going to fucking happen anytime soon, right?
Well, yeah, it was deliberately done by Israel to get the ceasefire talks stopping.
Yeah, exactly.
But essentially, because I think specifically why I want to discuss this, because I don't know what you think about this, but I really think that this was done deliberately, because I think Netanyahu knows that a change of government in the United States, or a change of leadership, even if it's just Kamala Harris rather than Joe Biden, is essentially kind of the beginning of the end of the war.
Yeah,
they're going to be pressuring him into accepting a ceasefire deal if it just stays within Gaza, and between Gaza and Israel, right? And then of course that ends his political career. He wants to keep it going forever. He never wants the war to stop. Well, that's what allows him to maintain power.
Well, not just
not
just maintain power, but I think this is the crucial point, which a lot of people miss in all of this, is that he's literally prepared to engage in mass murderous genocide just to keep his own arse out of prison.
Yeah.
Because if he's got immunity as the Prime Minister right now, if he loses that, the court cases for his, just ridiculously blatant corruption, he and his wife are going to fucking jail as soon as he's out of office. So he needs that war to continue forever so that he can do war unity. We can't change horses midstream, etc., bullshit until he fucking dies.
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what I think he's trying to do there. So that's why, especially, he essentially can keep the United States on side if somehow a war with Iran starts. Because just remember, like last time, where Israel bombed an Iranian target with no justification, which obviously gave Iran casus belli to be able to go to war with Israel because they had attacked Iran unprompted. And then all of the Western media went, oh, isn't it terrible how Iran are attacking Israel with all of these weapons? I'm like, bitch, like Israel struck first. That's how war works. If it happens, you retaliate. And I'm assuming if something similar happened here, where a wider war with Iran and Israel, or between Hezbollah and Israel, escalated. Of course, Hezbollah, Israel perceived Hezbollah to have attacked first, even though they attacked Syria for some reason because of the occupied status of the Golan Heights. If regional war breaks out, there is literally no way the Democratic Party or the Republican Party are going to stop the flow of weapons to him. They'll cite all the existential crisis of the existence of the state of Israel. So whatever we think about happened in Gaza, we have to stop them against the evil Iran. And suddenly, of course, first of all, that probably means the Democrats lose the election. And second of all, again, this stops what could have been a pretty seminal moment in Israel-US relations in them getting cut off of things like arms sales, which would have been crazy to think of, like, however many years ago. That was potentially on the table, and now that's gone.
No, I think there's still been a sea change of sorts, though, because there was never any criticism of Israel from any US politicians. Even leftists really just left it alone. They didn't talk about it because they realised how toxic it was. I think that genie can't really be put back in the bottle. All this does, as is so often the case with fascism, is just push that societal change further down the road in terms of its practical application. Whether it's this generation or the next, Israel's murder has to cease. It has to fucking stop at some point. And I think they've reached that tipping point where it's too obvious. In the age of social media, where we can see bags of dead babies, it's not really plausible to carry on that way,
I just think that once everyone is just discussing the wider potential conflict, and as soon as you just completely obscure this with discussions of the existential threat to the existence of the state of Israel, all of those concerns amongst the political class will melt away. Of course, young progressive people and people who care about the lives of Palestinians, their hatred of the American establishment won't go away, but that will be lost. That will be lost in the actual political and media discourse. It's just going to entirely be about Iran.
100%. And by the way, for old frogs like myself, get ready for the same bullshit, the same pantomime that happened before Iraq. Even relatively liberal commentators will start beating the war drums, because that's what always happens. Because essentially they're institutionalists. Supremacy of the power structure is far more important, and if power structure says we're going to war with Iran or whoever the fuck, that's what's going to happen. And it's honestly, to see the path, the road laid before us in that way is fucking terrifying. This could get seriously out of hand, because Iran is no Iraq. Iran is not a broken-backed, fucked up, like borderline failed state. If they want to take that shit on, you're going to get fucked. And of course, the Straits of Hormuz are controllable by Iran, and like all of your fucking oil goes through that. Not if you attack Iran though, because they'll fucking stop it.
Yep, exactly. And on top of that, Iran is one of the very few countries that's actually been increasing its conventional warfare capacity, as well as, of course, it's these nukes that we all know that.
Well, no. Officially speaking, it doesn't have any nukes, obviously, and they wouldn't lie about that. Why would they lie about that? Oh, it's crazy. Like, imagine if for decades and decades they'd have a massive nuclear stock that they've never allowed a single IAEA inspector to ever even fucking see, let alone inspect or count. That would be crazy. A country like that would be seen as a rogue state, a pariah.
Well, because again, like, we'll end up with like a broader regional conflict that the West will get dragged into, just because people are like obsessed with cradling Netanyahu's balls. That's it. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
So, you see, this guy literally, he says jump, and then Western governments just say how high.
True. I'm just going to open my door 1 second. Apologies. My earphones are now out, so I can't hear you. Apologies. Oh, good God. Oh, I need to get some air percolating. Right. So, yes. Before
shit's fucked.
Yeah, shit's fucked, certainly. Did we want to look at some of the reaction to Southport from the Riotoids?
Yeah, should we have a look at some of the things that's happening in like Hartlepool and London today?
Yeah, we can do, but I did just want to, just before we move on from yesterday's proceedings, I do have to show the clip that was mentioned, don't I?
Oh, of course we do.
Because did you watch this yesterday by any chance?
I think we pulled it up on stream, no. But even if we didn't, I've forgotten. Worth watching again.
Absolutely. So, the thing you're about to see, I think personally might be the height of Western civilization. Fuck the ancient Romans, fuck the Renaissance, all of that shit. This piece of footage should be hung in the Louvre or the fucking British Museum or whatever, right? I
tell you what, it supersedes that photo of like the guy lying on the ground in Manchester with a can of beer in one hand. It's like a seminal really British picture.
Now, before anyone feels even remotely sorry for the person you're about to see, I will just play you this piece of footage, right? Notice the guy in the grey jumper, I guess. Here we go. This lad here. That person is attending a service for 3 murdered children. I want you to bear that in mind. That is the reaction.
Just hands with the lads. Backs of cans with the lads.
Yeah, that is him. That is his natural reaction to that event. So to say this guy is a fascist piece of shit and anything bad that happens to him had it coming, yeah. Although ironically, he won't be coming any longer. Right, the very same man you will see appear on the right of the screen. I'll let it play through solidly once, and then we do need to break it down because it's a masterpiece.
Look at it.
Wait for it! Wait for it! Wait for it! Boom!
Hey!
Right in the bollocks. That man has heavily bruised penis and testicles right now. Beautiful.
Well, it was a very funny also, just watching a guy just like chuck a wheelie bin.
That was also
so ungainly.
It is also very funny, yes. That is true. But we need to break it down. We need to break it down. Okay? So, they're having a go. Right. We stop it there. a moment of double impact. You may be able to see the rock on the left that's hitting him in the chest takes the copper gets an assist on this one because it's deflected by his helmet. Boom! Right into his chest. One of his own side, friendly fire from the right, smacks him on the side of the head. That's 2 bricks at once. It's already good. It's already good, but what makes it a gift for the age is A, like you say, your man with a wheelie bin. Like, what damage is that going to do? Even if you land it perfectly, the copper's just going to go, that's a bit annoying. And that's it, right? Perfect.
Yeah.
It's literally just some plastic, you dickhead. But then wait for it. Oh, I was trying to pause at the right moment.
Do it in slow motion, Kev.
Slow mo. Look at that, bleeding head.
You can literally change the speed into 0.25 times.
Oh, well, can you? Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Such a technophobe am I. Playback speed, there we go. Actually, we'll go 1.5. Let's go mental with it. Oh, that was sped up. I've gone the wrong way completely. What a knob. Unlike your man. Oh! It's honestly, it's perfect. It's actually perfect. He's got
really
blood
is.
pissing out of his head and his other head. Perfect. Honestly, I think nothing can beat this. When aliens arrive on Earth, as they inevitably will, don't send them to see the fucking Mona Lisa or the Sistine Chapel or anything, right? No. Play them this, right? And they'll say, you know what, we were going to wipe you all out, lads. We were going to kill all the humans, but after seeing this, we can be mates, all right? Yeah, we chill. We're taking on the Martians. Yeah, love it. Right? That's how it's going to go down. It's foolproof. Absolutely
really
wonderful. And
did you get slow-mo of the first impact as well?
Let's go. Oh, like a coconut shy.
And one more for life.
Oh, friendly fire in the most unfriendly way. Really, it's delightful.
Quite something.
And I like the fact that his plums probably actually look like plums now. Just a horrific shade of purple. Gotta love it. Anyway, I had to bring that to you because that is a gift now that belongs to eternity. You're welcome,
yes.
World. You're welcome. British culture at its peak.
True. Very true.
Anyway. Far right nonsense. Where do we start? I do have some bookmarky mark bits. Well, actually, no, we can go to. There was Farage speaking with Tobias Alwood.
It's a weird combination.
It's a weird combination. Pair of wankers in their own unique way. Yes.
Stop it.
As is pretty much always the case, you've got a Reform MP interviewing a former Conservative MP, and indeed ex-minister in the government.
The guy who did a weird promo film for the Taliban.
Yes. Yeah. About violence in Southport. Let's fucking go.
Tobias, you and I don't always agree on things. We normally have a degree of mutual respect. Do you understand why I think, had people known the truth, had they known that this was not somebody, as was being said online, who crossed the English Channel in a dinghy in October 2023, we might not have had riots on that scale in...
Yeah, if people like you and your supporters hadn't lied purposefully to whip up racial tensions, yeah, that might not have happened.
Compared to standing there police with the
That's
That's
true.
they put out from like his desk or
Yeah.
whatever it was, saying, "Well, we don't know. Questions have been asked. There is speculation." Fucking weasel word get out clauses that underpinned his like ridiculous nonsense.
Yeah, I think I've got that bookmarked. Where are we? Scrolling. Here we go. We can take a look at exactly that video. We'll get back to Mr. Elwood in just a second. But yeah, this was Nigel definitely not partaking in the stoking of racial tensions.
Well, it's pretty horrendous. The third young girl has died as a result of the stabbings yesterday in Southport. I obviously join everybody in my horror at what has happened. I know the Prime Minister went to lay flowers and was heckled, and it shows you how unhappy the public are with the state of law and order in our country.
Couple of quick points on that, Nige. Firstly, most of the people heckling seem to have been people from outside the area. They seem to have not actually been like locals or anything. And secondly, and I am loath to defend Sir Kid Starver on this, but what the fuck was he supposed to have done about knife crime in 3 weeks?
Yeah, true.
Like, that's
Exactly.
not... You can't really blame him for this. Like, yes, he's the Prime Minister, and there's obviously a continuation of governmental responsibility, blah, blah, blah. We know all that shit, right? Prime Minister today should apologise for things that happened 200 fucking years ago. We know all of that shit, right? But in terms of practically what he could have done to stop this, basically nothing. They've not been around long enough. They haven't even been able to put forward any legislation at all yet, because they've gone on the summer hollybobs.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking mad
Also,
shit.
thank you, Jack, for the 10 gifted, and also for the £20 super chat. Southport can only hope they get the lovely chap Sean as an MP someday. Absolutely, Jack. I appreciate the
Absolutely, yeah.
support.
Good lad. Thank you, Kieran, with the bits. Compare the standing there, the police with the heavy-handed arrest of the Sarah Everard vigil. Yeah, well, I mean, we know this. The police are fucking garbage.
Well, literally, like, Matt Goodwin was complaining on Twitter, saying people are mad about two-tier policing. Now, we went over on stream the other day, specifically about how the far right just don't bother understanding like what the rules are around protests. They get themselves arrested for no reason because they've not had like a briefing on, the police and crime bills that they voted through. But I'm like, just like, what two-tier policing? People have been sentenced to, I guess you say, the Just Stop Oil protest, and these guys were out there throwing wheelie pins at cops.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I made the point in the interview, but and by the way, thank you for getting that interview. I do apologise for slightly bum rushing your interview that you got.
And honestly, Kev, I am really like for some reason my body is just completely dissociated right now. So you kind of controlling the stream was really good for me to just kind of like dissociate in the background.
You lie back and think of England. Absolutely, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. What was I saying? Yeah, the point I made in the interview about fuck's sake, my mind's gone now. What was I saying before? Nah, you know when you lose your thread, it's just gone now.
Yeah.
It was going to be a fucking belter or a point as well. Fuck.
I have to say there are one or two questions. Was this guy being monitored by the security services? Some reports say he was, others less sure.
Which is why you should wait for the facts to come out. As a fucking politician now with responsibilities, your words have fucking consequences, you prick. Wait until you know anything about the situation, rather than, well, some random dickhead on the internet said that he wasn't an immigrant, but actually Hitler lover 1488 says he was definitely black and therefore probably a Muslimic. So who can possibly say?
It's also like saying other people are not sure. It's like, it's this weasel words that they always do. They always go with the weasel words. There has been speculation. Reports are unclear. There have been some statements to that effect. Weasel words that are technically true, but obscure the reality of 99% of the evidence.
Well, exactly.
Like, some say that global warming is a myth created by George Soros to sell you electric cars.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
That'd be 0.3% of people, like.
Well, exactly, yeah. Some people are saying X, Y, and Z. Trump does this. Have you heard people saying such and such? So what? I've also heard people saying fluoride in the water turns you gay. Like, I don't give a fuck what some people say. Fuck what some people say. Dickhead.
Yeah.
The police say it's a non-terror incident, just as they said the stabbing of an Army Lieutenant Colonel in uniform on the streets of Kent the other day was a non-terror incident. I just wonder...
Right, but just because he was in the army doesn't make it terrorism. Like, some people get stabbed and it's not terrorism, right? You are aware of that, Nigel, please. Surely. That shouldn't need to be explained to a grown adult. But I feel like it is necessary.
wonder whether the truth is being withheld from us. I don't know. The answer.
Look, I don't know. Look, but all I'm going to
Just
do
asking
is
questions.
raise fears in easily gullible, drunk fucking sniffheads who are going to go to Southport and look, do whatever they will. I can't say. Was he an immigrant with 3 heads? Did he rape guinea pigs? Who knows? Who can say such thing? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Fuck you, you fucking snake.
Answer to that. I think it is a fair and legitimate question. What I do know.
Right, but that's not a question you can possibly begin to answer. So you just raising it apropos of nothing is worthless. Actually, it's worse than worthless. It's actively fucking dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You
why
are a
that's why
stochastic
yeah.
terrorist, Nigel Farage. Simple.
It was fun. Also, speaking of stochastic terrorism, one very small point. It was very funny after the Trump assassination. All of the libs of TikTok type people saying, or assassination, I'm sorry, all the libs of TikTok type people saying the Democrats are to blame for everything that they said about Trump before now. And I'm like, oh, so now you understand the definition of stochastic terrorism, do you? Okay, I'll mark that down for later.
Yeah. Also, stop calling him Hitler. That makes people want to murder him. And ignore that compilation of Trump calling everyone else Hitler. Stop it. It's different when he does it. It's charming and lovely, actually. It's not like his fans are gun nut fucking lunatics who literally drove to fucking Ohio to try and kill Gretchen Whitmer. No. That's a different matter entirely.
It's something is going horribly wrong in our once beautiful country. Well, it's
Go fuck yourself, you fucking googly-eyed mutant.
Is Nigel sleeping with a sofa? Just asking
he should do
questions.
that.
Yeah. Well, exactly, Kieran, you ask a very good question, and I thank you for the bits. Is Nigel Farage sleeping with sofas? I don't know. I certainly can't possibly say.
There has been speculation.
Some
but
people
we have
have
no
said-
information to confirm nor quash it.
Some people have said he definitely searches for graphic dolphin porn on the internet. I can't possibly say. I don't know. I'm just saying some people are saying it, and I think that's a perfectly legitimate question to ask.
Exactly. We may only find out we may never find out the true answer to that question, but whilst information is unclear, we can but speculate.
Exactly. And I think it's perfectly legitimate to speculate, actually. It's fine. It's perfectly normal. It's a good thing, in fact, that MPs are doing this. That's positive, somehow. How many times do you think he's been to Clacton in the last month? Not many, is what I think.
Twice.
Yeah, he's been there about as many times as he's been to fucking Wisconsin.
Southport last night.
Well, firstly, thank you for inviting me on your show, and let me just perhaps set up my stall, and I'll be grateful to hear your thoughts. I mean, we've spoken many times as on air and indeed off air as well. There's much that we're aligned on, as you suggest, not least UK defence and security. Where we've disagreed, we've done so with respect.
Also, can I just say, the idea that white people dared to say that other races look so alike you can't tell them the difference between them. You are taking the piss, lads. These are just two... look at them. It's like that picture of Keith Chegwin and Les Dennis next to each other. Like, this is the same... I can't tell these honkies apart. Who are they?
It's like that. It's like the photo of the I hate to compare them to someone ostensibly cool, but I can't. It looks like what was that the latest Cray Twins film that was, where the one guy was playing both parts, but he just wears glasses in the other one.
It is, well, I mean, to make an even more ridiculous one, it's a little bit Superman Clark Kent. Like, he's got glasses on, that can't be Superman, even though it's literally exactly the same person. Like,
it's Mario and Wario.
Sure, at least they've got different coloured hats.
True.
So, yeah.
You know, without the conversation heading south, as so often political discourse descends these days, and where there's a difference of opinion, it's in that spirit of keeping the bar high. I hope we can have a frank conversation about this, better understand each other's views, that I join you today. On this, I hope you'd agree that we need to begin by recognizing the loss of life here. That's where our first thoughts should be, with the 3 that have been killed and the others.
Did Nigel Farage even mention those 3 in his video there?
He did, yeah.
Briefly, I think, yeah. And then spent most of it going, maybe he's a Muslim, you know? Maybe he's a bit brown, but he came over in a dinghy, did he? Yeah.
That have been injured. But as you said in your introduction, there's now a wider community suffering, and not just struggling and coming to terms with this horrible attack, but the subsequent orchestrated, sickening, violent riots that's taken place, leaving police officers injured, some of them very, very seriously indeed. And it is those false claims, the disinformation, which you quite rightly point out, on the internet, whipping up that frenzy of hate, spreading disinformation. And
Nigel Farage, honestly, for the lols, should have just done this bit dressed as a hot dog. Because he's taking the piss. We're all trying to find who did this. Who did this?
Who did this?
What? This is crazy. When I find the motherfucker who's been spreading crazy malicious rumours, like me and my fellow Reform MPs, there'll be hell to pay.
Encouraging the English Defence League, who's rallied its supporters with the sole intent of stirring up hate and seeking to divide. And it's this incident which raises so many, if we're going to prevent this from happening in the future, the speed in which fake news went from swirling around online to the violence offline.
Do you not realise you're saying this on GB News? Like, it's fucking conspiracy central. What are you talking about? Other than going on InfoWars and saying it, it couldn't get more ridiculous.
Exactly.
Fine. The failure of Twitter, also that you should be aware that speculation was going to rise. Why didn't they properly police the platform? And then, this has come to you, sir, the role of influential voices such as yours. And my humble request is to recognize what you say matters. You know, you, sir, have a reach and an influence well beyond most MPs. You know, people listen to you. They form their views by what you say. It's one thing to affect and disrupt mainstream thinking, as you've done very effectively over the last decade or so, or longer, in political matters. But I respectfully ask you to recognize that when it comes to matters of security and indeed terrorism, because that's the word you use, something that's directly affected my life, that those with a public profile do need to be aware of how their words could be taken out of context, especially when it comes relating to terrorism, not least Islamic extremism.
I'll just translate for the viewers. He's saying, can you not talk shit, mate? Could you
True,
maybe not
but
just
this-
talk some shit, yeah?
Yeah. With more flowery language.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's simply my position, which I hope you would agree or at least understand.
Yeah, I mean, the EDL element of it, I'm sure there were some EDL activists that came in from other parts of the Northwest. Also true to say that...
Well, and Millwall fans, as we heard earlier.
It's
Again,
true, yeah.
No, again, I don't know that the Millwall fucking Preston branch is particularly big, is all I'm going to say.
No.
I think they may have come in from further afield. By the way, for those who don't know, Millwall is a football club based in the south of London. So there you go.
Most people on those streets last night did actually live in Southport.
Or is it West London? Anyway, it's London, whatever.
And, you know, to listen to the BBC this morning, you'd have thought that everybody had been shipped in from sort of outer space, which clearly wasn't true, and the arrests...
Well, there were quite a few outsiders, clearly. Well, look, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be. It doesn't even have to be the majority. But like, if a significant chunk are coming in from the outside, it's clearly an agitation rather than an organic, authentic reaction of people.
I can't believe you're implying, Kevin, that Nigel Farage might be making some shit up. It's not like we had somebody who was from the area who recognised no one, who said that most of them were out of towners. How that opinion is far less important than, you know, somebody who just reckons that the opposite isn't true.
We literally did better journalism than the supposed news organisation and GB News.
Quite.
And the stats do prove that. Tobias, I would argue this. I would come back at you by saying this. Had my questions been answered clearly, we would have ended much of that false, fake news speculation that was going on.
And you should know, as a legislator, they don't reveal the information of people under the age of 18. That doesn't give you an excuse to fill in the blank with racial hatred of your choice. It's not potluck fucking racism you can do. The fuck are you talking about, you prick? He's in Parliament and he has absolutely no knowledge of or interest in how any of this operates. He's a fucking gobshite.
Yep.
On social media, and you know, there is a deep sense of unease in this country that something is going wrong. Had we been told a bit more, and I know the guy was 17, and that makes it more complicated.
No, that's it. That's the end of the discussion. You can argue if you wish that you wish to have that bar moved to 16. And as a legislator, you can put forward legislation to affect that change if you so wish. But you can't say, I know he's 17, but... No, there's no but there. The protection of the data below the age of 18 is set in fucking law. That's the end of that discussion.
Yeah, 100%.
Complicated, and I do get that. I think it's reasonable that I ask those questions, and I don't believe anything I did in any way was stirring up disorder. In fact, I put it to you, if I'd been answered clearly, the riots would have been smaller.
Well,
Wow, he's gone from anyone who ever said anything bad about Donald Trump is guilty of assassination to me? Me stoking terrorism? No! I'm a small innocent boy. I didn't do nothing. Fucking clown.
He's just a small bean. Just a small bean.
He is the smallest.
Stochastic.
Ooh woo! Just an ooh woo terrorism. Ooh.
You touched on something absolutely fundamental to our law. It would have been illegal to actually spell out the circumstances, given that this was a minor, a 17-year-old. Now, maybe that's a question that now needs to be deliberated, but that's for you to take to the Home Affairs Committee or raise in Parliament. My concern is that you are now a political leader. You're in Parliament itself, regardless of party. I hope you'd always put the country's interests first, because
True. I mean, he is taking it seriously. He is seriously trying to build his base of support by stirring up hatred.
Tobias.
and the others
About 3 minutes in, I
that
think.
have been injured. But as you said in your
Parts of the Northwest. Also true to say that most people on those streets last night did actually live in Southport. And, you know, to listen to the BBC this morning, you'd have thought that everybody had been... We would have ended much of that false, fake news speculation that was going on social media. And, you know, there is a deep sense of unease in this country.
Oh, I was muted. Oh, it doesn't matter. Basically, Nigel Farage is a wanker.
Yeah, twat.
That something is going wrong. Had we been told a bit more, and I know the guy was 17, and that makes it more complicated, and I do get that, I think it's reasonable that I ask those questions, and I don't believe anything I did in any way was stirring up disorder. In fact, I put it to you, if I'd been answered clearly, the riots would have been smaller.
Well, you touched on something
Lord
absolutely
Rioter
fundamental
donated
to our
$3.
law. It would have been
Well
illegal
said.
to actually spell
Bravo,
out the
bravo.
circumstances,
How
given that this was a
eloquent.
minor, a 17-year-old. Now,
All right, I mean, thank you for the donation, Lord Fruitus, but there's no need to be sarcastic. Okay? Yes, I was muted for like 10 seconds. Eat my arse, you French bastard. Okay?
maybe that's a question that now needs to be deliberated. But that's for you to take to the Home Affairs Committee or raise in Parliament. My concern is that you are now a political leader. You're in Parliament.
Nigel Farage doesn't take his role as a legislator seriously and was just using it to create an extra pulpit and doesn't actually want to care about doing the hard yards of acting like an MP. How dare you insinuate such a thing?
Exactly. Also, why would he go to the Homo Affairs Committee? Please. Gee, can you believe it? Parliament's gone woke.
True.
Ugh.
Itself, regardless of party, I hope you'd always put the country's interests first, because has this been good for Britain, what happened last night? It's very easy to play on people's anxieties, on their anger, their frustrations. And there's much to be concerned about. You and I can have a big debate about where our world's going, why we're not doing enough. But Parliament must look for solutions, and parliamentarians must offer the wisdom and the leadership that offers.
See, Tobias Elwood is a wanker, but I do appreciate he's trying to like win Nigel around to the "you should do your job as a member of Parliament, you prick." Like I appreciate that he's trying to sort of it's like a fatherly arm around the shoulder. Nigel, come on now, you're in Parliament, mate. Let's start acting like it, shall we, please? Yeah, you're going to be a good boy for Daddy. Okay, cool.
Answers. We must do nothing to absolutely inflame the situation. I will agree with you in part about keeping people informed. We had a terrible incident in Bournemouth here where a couple of people lost their lives because of a freak wave that came through and they drowned. The speculation that came through that it was to do with one of the boats, the big boats that operate in this area, the boat operator lost his job because of it. It had nothing to do with it, but the police were very slow in providing information.
Yeah. No, the truth matters. Yeah, the truth matters.
Speculation to go overboard.
Again, Nigel Farage saying the truth matters. Motherfucker, you're Mr. Brexit. What are you talking about? The truth matters.
Exactly, it's crazy. And again, like, I mean, he's not wrong. The truth does matter, but the truth matters insofar as that we actually hear what the truth is, not what you reckon might be true, which is good for you politically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. The truth matters, but like, it's like hearing a murderer say killing people's wrong. Motherfucker, exactly. You don't like. Yeah, you're correct, but you don't have a leg to stand on.
Really did. From there, I do absolutely agree with you. I simply plea with you that you must recognise that your comments, particularly on terrorism, that I lost my brother in the Bali bombing. Okay, you know that I've been affected by terrorism not once but a number of times in my life. So when people use that word, and it's right, it's still there. We got
but that was Tobias.
Grow larger.
Tobias. Firstly, your name's Tobias. That's hilarious. And secondly, that's brown people terrorism, so bad terrorism. What happened in Southport was white people terrorism, which is not terrorism, it's righteous anger and indignation. Did you not hear everyone on Talk TV?
Matt Goodwin.
True. It's understandable that people are angry. So they drive from fucking Millwall to go and brick a mosque, you pricks.
Then Al-Qaeda. What are we doing about it? These are important questions that you and I can spend a lot of time discussing and debating. But when we tie it up in what's going on in Southport, until we have the information, this person, I understand, may have been from Rwanda. Rwanda is mostly a Christian, Catholic country. So again, things have got out of control.
No, Tobias, I didn't stir.
My voice can help calm things down.
I didn't stir any of that.
Yes, you did. You 100% did.
You absolutely did. Yeah, you fucking gobshite. And they're all at it now. They're all trying to backpedal desperately, trying to cover their own arses. They desperately needed this guy to be a Muslim. They needed him to be a Muslim.
They really did. The things that's why they were desperate to do it. They were absolutely desperate for it. Like, it shows you the mindset they're in, that it is driven by Islamophobia. It is driven by racism. There wasn't a let's find out who it is. It must be a Muslim. Let's make up a name and then we'll spread it around. I'm not saying that it was made up by Nigel Farage, right? Or even when Nigel Farage said it was a Muslim, right? But there was so much speculation. They didn't just go let's wait and see who it is and then say what it is. They go, oh well, I reckon it was a Muslim. Let's go riot.
True. Very much so. Was someone tracked him down? Hang on. We think we found the nutshot guy.
The what? Sorry.
The nutshot guy. The fucking.
Oh, hey.
Brick to the bollocks. Where's it go? Oh, fuck's sake! Why did Twitter reload? I'm gonna have to scroll down like a fucking knob. I will find this fucking shit if it takes me all day. Here we go. Oh, Mukhtar. Brian Spencer, the Southport Rioter who got hit with bricks. Mukhtar knows his shit. Hang on a minute. People, hang on. The notable contribution, double-clicked by his own fascist friends. Well, we don't have anything more on him. We have his name. The guy's called Brian Spencer. That's a bit disappointing so far.
Yeah.
Although I did, oh god, belter of a thing. Someone defending the rioting, or sort of defending, whatever. There was a thing. Where is it? why is Twitter so shit? Here we go. So, right. Taj Ali says, "This is Joe Marsh, the Welsh neo-Nazi who disgracefully exploited the tragedy in the far right in Southport tonight. He is convicted criminal with violent history, no connections to the area. He calls himself a white nationalist." Now, that in of itself, not that surprising, right?
No.
But a couple of the quote tweets on this, or a couple of the snapbacks from the original poster, if Twitter will fucking load, Jesus Christ. Right. So, yeah, this guy called Bill Kirkbride says, "Quick question: has he ever stabbed children or an British Army officer?" And Taj strikes back with, "Fuck off, you nonce. Ex-councillor William Kirkbride sentenced for child sex offence." Ooh!
Oh, fatality!
Oh, we just saw an execution right there. Oh, lovely stuff. And there was another one, wasn't there? Hang on. I can't fucking say. Anyway, I'm sure there was another one where the guy had got like violent history, but that's just lovely. I mean, these are the people who really care about the kids. They really do. Amazing. It's like the GCs who really care about women's sport, except when, you know, it's a cis woman being kicked out for, so, you know, naturally high testosterone levels.
Or a child rapist being allowed to compete.
Yeah, also a thing. Not a singular event either at this particular Olympics. There are at least two of them.
Really? Fucking hell.
Yeah, there was the Dutch guy, and then, oh god, was he Canadian or something? I can't remember. Okay, so actually, should we check out what was happening in where was it? Hartlepool, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look. There's usually a bit of footage by now. I wish that these events didn't happen, but as they do. Oh god, look at these fucking melters. Oh god almighty. Oh, there's no volume on that. Well, there's not a massive crowd, thankfully, but having to go at the coppers, naturally. Oh god. What's this? So this has been Durham and a standoff with police in Hartlepool, Durham, and asylum seekers harassed in Newton Heath, Manchester. Oh god. So a Christian kills 3 babbies and fucking Muslims are getting copping it in the neck.
It's like this, literally like when there was the Romanians.
Yeah, exactly.
Started rioting in the hills. They started blaming the Muslim councillor who went to go and clear things out.
Yeah. What's this?
Ah, see this discount Tim Pool we've got here.
What?
Says we're going to go to a civil war.
Alex Armstrong. Who's this guy? Talk TV and GB News. Yeah.
Oh, and then Darren Grimes' little grift channel as well.
Nice. What's going on here? Looks like mostly a standoff. I suppose police are probably on guard after yesterday's nonsense. They certainly fucking should be, but... Oh, we've seen this one. What's this one say? He's got a sign and I'm trying to read what the fuck it was. Oh god, Twitter's so rubbish. What does it say?
we are at Potters International. As you can see, hello mate. As you see, it's a fantastic turnout here today.
This one is in Aldershot, Hampshire. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's everywhere.
And again, like, they literally are.
I think what's
The
happened,
asylum seekers were literally put in hotels by the Conservative Party to try and disrupt communities rather than putting them through the asylum system, because they cut all of the asylum people, all the people who were actually filing the claims for asylum.
Yeah.
for a weeknight.
And then, I mean, again, loath to defend the Labour Party, but they said we're going to process the 100,000 backlog, and the Daily Mail went, they're going to let 100,000 people in. No,
Yeah, 'cause again,
they're going to deal with
anything
the
other than get the
backlog.
Browns out isn't good enough.
Yeah.
Whether they're in hotels or whether they're working here, it's all bad because it's more brown people. That's all they care about.
Because they're worried about the future of their area because of what's coming out of that hotel just over there. They're scared for their kids. Well, scared for their futures. It's all calmed down a bit now. I shall keep posting and show you a bit more later on. Cheers now.
Okay. There's a couple more. If Twitter will ever fucking work. Well, that's just a picture. He didn't actually explain in the video that... He didn't explain what the issue was, though.
Or it's asylum seekers in hotels.
Yeah, but like, what's like the evil that's coming from there? Like, is it literally just, oh, there's some brown
They're asylum
people?
seekers, so they're evil, right? That's it. That's literally it. They're asylum seekers. They're all rapists waiting to kill people. Like,
Yeah. Now they're rioting in Hartlepool. Wow. I didn't know Napoleon Dynamite had such strong opinions. Jesus. Yeah. So I think it's... Who's this? Responsible for attacking police in a riot in Hartlepool. I don't know who that is. Well, obviously, but... Yeah.
that's some cops. Who cares?
Yeah. Statement from Jonathan Brash MP. I'm deeply concerned about the situation. Yeah, who cares, mate? Yeah, shut up. I know they have to put out the thing, but who cares? What's this? I posted this before. I asked myself, am I too angry? Oh God, do you want to listen to Tommy Robinson?
Honestly, I'm actually really. I'm sorry. I've been really low energy. I'm just absolutely shattered for some reason. I'm super tired today. I didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm probably gonna call it there.
Okay.
But I will raid my guys into you. So if you're continuing on from now on, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll send you. I'm not full. I'm not like near top of the energy that I could be given out. So I'll let people watch you through your end. Everyone, go subscribe to Kevin and follow. I'm gonna raid on both ends.
Yes.
You probably.
Yeah.
I'm just 0% energy at the moment.
No problem. Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing on Sean. I thought that was a worthwhile discussion.
It was great. I always love having him on, and I'm glad that you got to chat to him yourself as well.
Yeah,
So.
good lad. Yes, everyone go and follow both Sean, obviously, and Helena.
At No Justice MTG on all of the platforms.
Indeed, so.
Highly recommended.
So.
I probably will be back tomorrow myself, probably during the afternoon. I hope. It depends, as long as I.
Yeah.
Yes, Morton. We will cover the Ivanhoe line tomorrow. Don't you worry.
Okay.
But yes, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Kev. Stay safe, everyone. See you tomorrow. Free Palestine.
Indeed.
Bye.
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 What else did we have?
Get the fuck! They came not play me all these mutants.
Hey! Greatest raid sound ever. Hello, No Justice people. You can hit the follow button. You can subscribe. You can do all of those things. Yes. Much love. Welcome in. Welcome in, one and all. Riot police stationed in Newton Heath, Oh, Manchester. Okay. Oh, they've got fucking helicopters out. Right. This bloke wanted to kill every Christian in Hartlepool. Not terrorism, though. What the fuck does that mean? Police dogs are attacking protesters. Okay. Protesters, lol.
Again, the dog's out now.
Fucking hell. Absolute fucking mutts. One protester gets beat with a baton as the crowd gets pushed back. Oof! Red coat goes down. Thank you to the people who have followed on either or both ends. Much love to you both. Did the police dog then bite the brick-smashed man's balls? I don't think so, no.
Our dearest friend Redeemed Zuma calls the left a religion and subscribes to cultural Marxism.
What's that, Elliot Serco?
I love how most young men in our generation...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, we are definitely not dealing with Redeemed Zuma. We'll deal with this motherfucker another time. Journey from liberal to conservative. Kingdom Craft. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah, for people coming over from Helena's channel, I do some American shite as well. So, yeah, and we like dealing with the religious fanatics. They are fun. Because our fascists don't even fucking pretend, really. Is this London, is it? Is that their London? Ah, Westminster.
Southport, and they're talking about save our kids and stop the boats and so forth, so there's connection with...
It's just like an incoherent screaming. This is what the right do. It's just an incoherent series of noises. Save our kids, stop the boats, I'm England till I die. What the fuck does any of that mean? What connection is there between any of these fucking things? The guy was from Cardiff, you pricks. Like, and they act like this is some new thing that, like, it didn't exist before the Browns. Like, you know, the Peaky Blinders was an actual thing. It's not just a TV show starring the great Cillian Murphy and the late great Benjamin Zephaniah. No. It was an actual thing. And actually, it happened about 20 years before it was actually set in the TV show. They were largely a late 19th century thing. They were largely done by the turn of the century. And they went around blinding people with razor blades in the peaks of their caps. The idea that brutal violence is some modern affectation of a sick society and, you know, blah blah blah, cultural degeneracy, etc., etc., is bollocks. It's absolute bollocks, mate. You people are fucking wrong-uns. Just fucking deal with it, you violent fucking assholes.
Migrants. So, I mean, what can be done? It's not illegal to put false information, I don't think it is, on the internet. So how...
Yes and no. Malicious communications is a thing. I mean, for instance, Joey Barton is currently facing legal issues. The ex-Premier League footballer Joey Barton for his hateful comments towards Eni Aluko, a black woman who dares to speak about football. Crazy, I know. So yeah, there are of course, freedom of speech considerations to take into account, but there are definitely curtailments of putting false information out on the internet.
How does this get stopped? Outside, yeah.
Very good question. How does it get stopped? Hang on. Let's look for Westminster, shall we? Like, as bad as Twitter is, and it is an absolute fucking cesspit, it's still good for finding clips as and when they go out, as and when it's happening, you know? And that's right by Downing Street, for fuck's sake. Literally. Just around that corner is where the fucking Prime Minister lives. Although I don't know if he's in residence at the moment. That's fucking wild, man. Deliveroo drivers, naturally. The only job that exists in Britain anymore. They're singing England. Fucking absolute dickheads, man. Kenyans in the UK plan to demonstrate again on Tuesday. For what exactly? What are they protesting? Something with the Kenyan High Commission? Wow, I didn't know Haz was in London. Shit. When did he get here? Actually, on that point, did you see that Johnson Hitler is literally in Venezuela right now? Like, literally, actually, for realsies? By the way, apologies if you can hear the baby crying, that's next door. In the garden, not like through the walls. What's their purpose at Downing Street? Well, in theory, I think they're supposed to be like protesting knife crime or something, but as they appear to be doing a lot of violence themselves, I don't know that they're going to be listened to very carefully. But there we go. War in the Middle East is happening now. Have you got a link? Tommy Robinson! Fucking Tommy Robinson, you cunts. He's in Spain avoiding the law, you pricks. Oh yeah, last stream I did, I told you he got arrested. They bailed him with no conditions and he fucked off back to Spain. So he's currently on the lam. There will probably be extradition hearings with the Spanish government, I dare say. Oh God, what's this? Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei has ordered a retaliation against Israel following Hamas leader Haniyeh's death in Tehran, as reported by Iranian officials. A crisis meeting of the National Security Council proposed a large-scale drone attack on Israeli military targets and potential coordination with allied forces in Iraq, Yemen and Syria. Khamenei stated that Iran must avenge Haniyeh's death. Oh, so, I mean, World War III, I guess, right? Like, humanity had its run, is all I'll say. Humanity had a fair crack of the whip for a good few tens of thousands of years, and we bollocksed it all up, okay? We've created weapons we can't control, led by religious idiots that can't be controlled, and this is where you end up. This is where you naturally end up. Hamas leader killed. Latest. Netanyahu says he won't listen to allies who want to end the war. Quelle surprise. As Iran vows harsh punishment over killing of Hamas leader on its soil. Hamas's political leader Ismail Haniyeh has been killed in Iran in a treacherous Zionist raid, quote unquote. The group has said the Iranian supreme leader has vowed revenge on Israel and is yet to comment on his death, risking significant escalation in the crisis in the Middle East. Experts say region moving in one direction: more violence, more assassinations, more deaths. That's not good, is it? I don't think. That doesn't fill me with hope. An expert in international security says Iran's threats should be taken very seriously. They have many proxies in Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, Gaza and the West Bank who will, quote, all want to vow revenge, unquote, said Nomi Bar Yarkov, an associate fellow at Chatham House. She said gradual escalation for almost 10 months has only seen one trajectory: more violence, assassinations and deaths. US urges citizens not to go to Lebanon. Airline suspends flights to Tel Aviv. Jesus Christ, this is actually getting quite serious. Well, it's been serious for a long time, but you know what I mean, like, this could spread. The US has urged its citizens to not travel to Lebanon, citing rising tensions between Israel and Hezbollah. Those already in Lebanon should, quote, be prepared to shelter in place should the situation deteriorate. Meanwhile, United Airlines has suspended its flights to Tel Aviv, Israel, due to security reasons. Do they think that they're going to take down planes? Fuck. Former Israeli Prime Minister says Netanyahu obsessed by his own rhetoric and unable to end war. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Shortly before Benjamin Netanyahu took to the podium this evening and vowed to keep fighting the war despite pressure from within and abroad, a former Israeli Prime Minister said its different path was open to a different kind of leader. The dual killings of a Hamas leader and a senior Hezbollah commander gave Benjamin Netanyahu an opportunity to declare victory, Ehud Olmert told Sky News. But Mr. Netanyahu is, quote, obsessed with his own rhetoric about the ability of Israel to bring about total victory, which will never come against Hamas, unquote, he said. I am afraid that we are not coming close to the end of this. Yeah. Well, that's the question, isn't it? As realism overtakes hope, how far will America's ironclad support for Israel go? Well, seemingly pretty fucking far, up to and including supporting genocide, so, you know. That's a thing. Is there anything interesting there? You let your country down, apparently. Hear us roar, England. There's a cunt vaping. God, I knew they were degenerate.
Sam!
I'm trying to hear what any of these fucking Maltoids are screaming, but I can't make out what. I don't speak Cockney twat, you know. Starmer, you unwashed cunt. What the fuck is that? Starmer, you unwashed cunt. Well, that is grotty. You can't even sustain it for more than like 2 fucking goes, you pricks. Apparently these dickheads blocking traffic, they won't get 5 years though, so... Maybe they're leftists, because their audio is fucking shite. Also, peep the fucking Ukrainian flag there on top of the Westminster. What's that? Is that the Scottish office? I'm not sure. No, it's not the Scottish office, is it? That'll be part of the. Oh, I don't know. I can't get my bearings. Anyway, yeah, Ukrainian flag on top of government building. Based.
Sam.
It's definitely not Westminster Abbey, no. I think it might be part of the Chancellor's office, the budgetary building, whatever the fuck it is, I don't know. Filled with cunts. Rice? What the fuck are they saying? Hang on. I need to... hang on. I genuinely don't know what they're saying. Rise to kin or something. Can anyone translate? I don't speak whatever language it is. Christ is king. Is Declan Rice dead? What the fuck? Why are they saying Christ is king? Wash this git. That would have been funnier. Christ is king. That's so American. That's such a dumbass American thing. Don't fucking... Look, right, I get that we've got our religious bigots, but do like British religious bigotry. Why are you doing weird American nonsense? Christ is king. Next you'll start calling it soccer, and then there's going to be civil war. I will not fucking put up with it. How often do you think any of these lunatics actually attend church? My guess is not very regularly, outside of like family weddings or funerals or something, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of actual religious observance, pretty much never, is what I would think. Like, they go to the fucking pub on a Sunday to watch the football and get tanked up. Like, they're more religiously observant about drinking piss lager. If anything, Carling is king, apparently. Hello, Sir Gay Meerkat. How are ya? Don't forget, if you're enjoying whatever this content is, you can hit the follow button, or you can subscribe on YouTube. It's free. You can also give me money in the form of subscriptions and bits over on Twitch, but that's an extra optional. If you're feeling generous, you can. But the free thing is free. Do the free thing. Thank you.
Wait until they realize Jesus is a prophet in Islam.
True. Thank you, Elliot Serco, with 200 bits. Much love. Yeah, literally, they have a song where they sing "Allah is a pedo," which is amazing considering the person you're referring to there is Muhammad, who was an actual human being who lived. What you're actually saying there is that your God, the God of Christianity, because Allah just means God in Arabic. It's the same God of Abraham. So it's the God of Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. So by you singing Allah is a pedo, you're saying that you worship a child rapist. But you're so stupid and ignorant that you don't even know that's what you're saying. These people are profoundly, not just uneducated, but ignorant. A lack of education is unfortunately far too common even in the Western world, because the educational system unfortunately lets a lot of people down. But that's no excuse for ignorance. These people are just fucking ignorant cunts. Thank you to whoever that was. Hang on a minute. Mad Cat Scotty for gifting a sub to, oh my god, Hersherey. Much love to you both. We are on a hype train, mother flippers. If you want to make the hype train go choo choo, you can do bits and subs. If we get to level 2 of the hype train, I will finger the IQ of all of these people because it is dead. That's not true. Christ was educated. He did an NVQ in carpentry, so you take that back. Thank you enormogantuously to Rohack with 69 nice bitty bits. Much love. Thank you Madcat for gifting another sub. Much love to you. And thank you Lilycat87, which I presume is the year you're born in. And given the association of the number 88 with, let's say, the very kind of people we see on the screen right now, Nazi scum, aren't you glad that we were not born a year later? Because you can't put your name, you can't put your birth. If you were born in 1988, if you are 36 years of age, you can't put your fucking birth date on anything anymore because people will think you're a Nazi. God bless. Anyway, thank you for gifting us up. Much love. We are at level 2, so I've got to go and finger these people's IQs, which is like a metaphysical nightmare because IQ isn't even really a thing. Hey, this dickhead's getting arrested. Fuck you, mate. Oh, pair of them. Melters. Pair of melters. Enjoy your night in the fucking nick, you prats.
What's he done, officer? What's he done, officer? So was everyone else, Pope. Are you taking a piss? Well, you don't give us any warning. So I was standing in the road, so you've arrested me.
Yeah, that's how it works, right? If you stand in the middle of a road, you get 5 years in prison. Because that is the sensible country we are. Tough shit, mate. Tough shit. You wanted this, didn't you? You wanted to crack down on the loony left. without realising that the laws apply to every cunt, don't they? Look at these absolute fucking... that is a thumb. That is not a human being. That is a thumb that someone has drawn a face on. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the state. The absolute fucking state of them. Oh, the Cabrini Mafia are in force. Love it. Notice, because this one's white, they're not going to kick his fucking head off. You'll notice that. The kid gloves that the whiteoids get, yeah? And I love that I get to speak about white people like I'm not like a part of it. These fucking whiteoids. These hunkies. These fucking Angloid freaks. Don't slap police officers, man. That's how you get beaten the fuck out of. What are you doing? These, honestly, the right are so fucking stupid. They genuinely don't seem to think anything applies to them. Like, imagine knocking the fucking arm of a police officer like that. That's some white privilege bullshit right there, because a black guy doesn't do that. Because the black guy knows if he does that, he's going to be fucking eating concrete 10 seconds later, you know? Fuck me. Cheeky cunts, man. Unbelievable. Is that why you're not on camera? Yeah, I'm pretending to be not white for the day. I'm having a cheat day, you know? Like, you know, you can avoid leg day or whatever. I'm avoiding white day. I think that's how it works.
They don't know impress.
Hang on. The H word that geese make is a racial slur on Twitch. Is that true? Show me the documentation. I demand to see documentation on that. They've took the C word from us. They cannot take the H word. They cannot take the fucking H word from us, okay? This is look, I thought this was a free country. I thought this was America. What question, Madcat? Who is taller, you or your dad? And can we keep Thermok? What the fuck's Thermok? I don't know what that is. But who's taller, me or my dad? I am slightly taller than my dad. My dad's about 6 foot and I am 6'1". It really is quite close. We're all tall, actually. We're all around 6 foot. My dad and me and my two brothers. Like, genetically speaking, there's no need for a fucking paternity test on that one. We were all born and then became 6 foot, thin as a rake. But I've decided to become a fat cunt. Well, I'm still the same height, so you know. Oh, more Maltoids being arrested. Good.
Yeah, I saw him pass and I was like...
I wonder when the crowd's pouring, because we saw that crowd and there must have been a good 1,000 of them at least, whereas this is quite thin at the moment. Yeah, that's the Scottish office, isn't it? I'm almost certain that's the Scottish office right there. Which, by the way, before it became the Scottish office, was the Lady Hamilton's residence back in the day. And it was known that Lord Byron had an affair with her in that very building. Because that's just a thing that posh people did. Here we go, now it's kicking off. Okay. Thank you everyone for the successful hype train. Much fucking love to you. Your support really does mean the world to me. Even if I say those words in a way that doesn't seem legitimate, it's because enthusiasm on any real level is difficult for me to convey to you. I do sarcasm and dry wit. Sincerity just doesn't come across as sincere from me. It feels inauthentic, right? To be fair, Mad Cat, lady people are generally a bit smaller than the man people. Just genetically it works that way. Not all, of course. You get very short men, very tall women, of course. But the fact that you are a little shorter than your father is not massively surprising. Especially given that he was 6'4". The odds of you growing to be taller than him are pretty... It's pretty rare you get a woman taller than that. Sarcastic tune is built into the West Midlands accent. Exactly. Honestly, I think you get kicked out of the region if you start actually like talking as if you enjoy life. I don't think that's allowed. Meanwhile, you will have a hard time figuring out where the genes skipped a generation with me. I've got a full head on both. Hang on. I've got a full head on both my mum and dad, and I don't look like either of them. Oh, wow. Well, that can happen. Oh, on the Tommy Robinson front, by the way, in case you were wondering about the grift, naturally, the... oh, where is it? Hang on. Now, where is it? Tommy Robinson had his fundraiser website, and I say fundraiser as in, hang on, I'm not even looking at the right fucking page, you melter. Where are we? He had his fundraising page for his recent travails, legally speaking. You know. Oh, fuck me, I bookmarked so much shite. There we go, helptommy.com was registered last week. So he knew what he was going to do, right? He knew he was going to skip out on court and go on the lam and use that for victim narrative. Victim narrative equals more money from fucking idiots. Magic. Fuck you, Rohack. You know I love you, but go fuck yourself. But I love you, but fuck you. It would have been funnier if you were screaming how many kids when Boris Johnson was in office, because he wouldn't have been able to answer you. Hey! I don't know why they're being shamed there. I'm not entirely sure. Has Starmer said anything? Starmer has. Starmer has not said anything, I don't think, directly outside of the generic, like, rioting is bad. We are keeping abreast of the situation. Thank you to the police. Blah, blah, blah. That thing. But in terms of actually addressing them politically, no, he hasn't said anything. Which, to be fair, is sort of the responsible thing, you know why? It's the thing that Nigel Farage doesn't do. Is, you know, wait for the facts to come out and make a considered assessment of the situation, and then speak properly as a statesman ought to. Oh, more melters going to the nick. Enjoy your night in the cell, lads, you fucking pricks. Yeah. So I don't mind Starmer not necessarily addressing it directly head on just yet. Wait and see what happens. Wait and see the situation. You know. We're all too, unfortunately, far too ready to just jump on anything as soon as it happens and be like, ah, this is the narrative. This is the only truth that can be. Which, of course, you know, often ends up being wrong. Often the very first story you hear, the very first narrative you hear about any news story is almost always wrong, to a large extent, because we don't have the fact check, and people make mistakes, and there are malicious actors who purposely tell lies, i.e. Nigel Farage. You're not English anymore. Apparently apparently the police lose their Englishness by policing the far right somehow. Okay. I didn't realise that Englishness was like, I thought it was just being from England. Apparently it's more than that. Apparently it's negotiable. There's a fail-safe in it, you know? Having sung Christ is King, they're now saying Allah, Allah, who the fuck is Allah? Again, missing the point that Allah is their God. So apparently they think he's king, but they also don't know who he is. So technically they're saying they don't know who the king is. Which is interesting, because they're literally just down the road from the house where the king lives. Not Christ, you know, sausage fingers. Also, I have noticed that there is a man with a ginger beard. That is not me. I know, there he is. Oh shit, he does look a bit like me. Fucking hell, Kev. There's always some beardy cunt in the crowd that just looks like me. You can always tell a fucking Irishman, can't you? I mean, he's wrapped in an England flag, the twat, but you can always tell an Irishman from a mile off. Honestly, the number of Irish people who come up to me and just start chatting, because they know. They just fucking know. It's like, you can just tell. You can tell by the shape of the skull. It's like Irish phrenology or some shit. Zoom in. No, I'm not fucking zooming in. It's the guy there. You can see he looks like his head is resting on the shoulder of the other guy. Anyway. Long lost brother. I do hope not. He looks like that Andrew. Oh yeah, the what's his name? Yeah. I know the guy you're talking about. What's his fucking surname? Andrew Lawrence? Yeah, he's a prick. I've been told I look Irish before. That was not a compliment. I'm just putting it out there now. I've never been told you look Irish and it be like a good thing. It's like saying, you're a fat, ugly, beardy cunt. You look like someone drew a frowny face on a potato. You look like a fucking demented spud. Look, that's it. Not to ruin your day or anything, but that person was not being nice to you. I'm just saying. They're now shouting scum. They're now just shouting scum, which I presume is a reference to the Ray Winstone film, which is, I mean, honestly, a weird cultural reference point, but I respect it. Where's your tool? What fucking tool? This fucking tool! And then the coppers start smashing fuck out of him with socks filled with pool balls. People who watched that film would be very grateful I did not do a joke about the scene in the shed. I did have a little potato mascot bit. I think it's still on some of the older videos. I used to have like a little intro where a spud turned into my face. I can't remember who put that together for me, but thank you. It was good. But I lost the file and I just thought, oh, I can't be bothered. I could have searched for it, but I just thought, I'm moving on, you know. Look, I don't want to do riot porn, but we are kind of doing riot porn at this point. Like, I want to see dickheads rowing, basically. And there's a political point to it, of course. It's not just for the sake of it, but... You're here harassing us. You all have been engaged in fucking riots up and down the country in the last 48 hours. The police standing there isn't really harassing you as such. I don't think you can really play the victims on this one, lads. First time a cop has ever moved left. Heyo!
He sent it down from high. They're absolutely deliberately.
Mad Cat, there's always a nutty Scot everywhere, isn't there? It's like, is that a thing in law where there has to be a fucking lunatic Scotsman at every event? Just being weird. I love it. Honestly. My first night in Cambridge, I ended up fucking bumping into a Glaswegian homeless guy, and we started talking about the football. They're fucking everywhere, man. He saw me wearing a Celtic top, and he came over and just started chatting away, and I was like, oh, you're right, mate. Yeah. What brings you down here? And he went, I'm homeless. Fair enough, I guess. Oh no, I am used to it. I'm absolutely used to it, and I fucking love it. I love bumping into random Scottish people. They're fucking mental. In a good way, you know. Mostly in a good way, obviously. You do get some melters. Most of them at Ibrox. Ew. Oh, we've got Karen. We've got a Karen spotted. So are you arresting everyone? Oh, hang on, here we go. The British Karen is a very special species. They really are. Like, they've maximised the annoying pitch of their voice. Really, like, you can kill people with that level of annoying, you know? Oh, they're moving in. Honestly, the Fash genuinely think of themselves as like above the law or some shit. Mainly because the coppers are also fascists, you know? They're not annoyed that they're being brutal. They're just like, you're supposed to be brutal to black people. Why are you not doing this to Muslims? The holding cells. Honestly, the holding cells across London are going to be doing a roaring trade tonight. Fucking hell. Exactly, you're supposed to brutalise the fucking eco-warriors. What about those people that were standing in the traffic? You're supposed to beat them up, not us. Exactly, the Bibby Stockholm is free now. Yeah, they could use it. I hope you like Legionella, lads. I hear it's very nice this time of year. Oh, there he is. There's my there he is. My cousin, Fash Logan. Not Flash Logan, because that guy is either a 1980s cult classic or a man who gets his genitals out in public. Could be either. Is this it winding down? Oh! Look at this. Stop being a fucking child and stand up. This is English manhood.
Trying to break my fucking wrist.
Okay, Ket Logan is pretty good. Okay, we're calling him Ket Logan. He has a name now. His name is Ket. Or Rhino to his mates. Oh, reverse crab walking him. Love it. Look, if you don't want to comply, mate, he did ask you to stand up. Like, what are you gonna do? Look at this lad with his fucking beer gut here. Just hidden there. Look at that. It's like a Turning Point Greg's meme. Fuck me. It's a North FC fucking meme. In London. I wonder if he gets nicked. Yeah, looks like he's been nabbed. Is this it winding down now, is it? Yeah, they're just... Look, they're literally picking them off one by one. They're thinning the herd. Yeah, I think this was after the main bit of trouble. There's still a fair few of them, though. It's just a series of bewildered middle-aged fucking gutlords. Look at them. Who the fuck are these mutant creatures? Although as soon as I say that, a fucking young lad in good shape. But there we go. Hello. And I'm allowed to do these jokes because I am also a fat cunt. It's like the N-word pass for fat guys. It's allowed, okay? Fact. Kev will not replace us. He fucking will. Especially if you get up and it's the only seat left, I will replace you in that seat. You snooze, you lose, bitches. You can quote me on that. Is that a black guy taking the knee? Is that... What the... Hang on a minute. I've got a fucking... What's going on there? What's the black guy taking the knee? What's he doing? What's he up to? Don't get me wrong, I respect it, but it's a fucking weird flex, my bro. You're in the fucking lion's den, man. Like, goddamn. Fair play to him. Like, you are literally surrounded by fash. The ones in high vis and the ones not in high vis. But either way, you're like, be careful. It's a ballsy move, right? Unless he's just injured and he's hunched over. Like someone fucking punched him in the gut or something. But at the minute, he just looks like he's just taking a knee. Fair enough. This is literally all a waste of time. Basically, yeah, it is sort of a waste of time. And yet you're still here. Curious. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, basically it was a waste of time. Should we see the bloke getting hit in the bollocks again? Because that was fucking hilarious. Hang on a minute. Someone did it with fucking music as well, hang on. Someone set it to, oh, what music was it? I can't even remember. Oh, it was Enter the Dragon, wasn't it? Someone set it to the music of Enter the Dragon, and it really works well. Here we go. Here we go. Listen to this shit. This, honestly, it's perfect. Oh, that's fucking good, right? I feel like I might need to make that into a fucking intro bit or something. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, I don't think it's going to get any better than that, everyone. Honestly, so I think on that fucking bombshell, I'll leave you be. Yes. Apologies that Christy couldn't be with us. She was spending time with family who are over in Germany. So, yes, she'll be back on Friday, hopefully. I should be back at some point tomorrow, hopefully. Raid into Lucy. Who's Lucy? Do I know Lucy? Can you share that clip, please? Oh, hang on. Yeah, no problem. 1 second. Hang on a minute. I'll put it in the YouTube and the Twitch chat for you, because it is an absolute fucking ripper. There you go. Okay, let's see who's available on. Let's go with YouTube first. We'll raid into somebody. We'll find someone appropriate. Who have we got? Ooh, mostly twats. The only person I would even bother raiding into is the Serfs, who are cool. So I'll send you over to the Serfs on YouTube. Much love. See you tomorrow. And I suppose we'll go same way on Twitch, I guess. Double Raid Arena. There you go. And yes, thank you, genuinely thank you for all of your support. It means the motherfucking world to me. Rory Katz, even though he's dead, still wants me to say he does not give a shit. He has never given a shit for any human nonsense, okay? He also said, go fuck yourselves. Which is rude, right? But, you know, what can I say? Thank you for all of your support. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay beautiful. No pass around.